Chapter 1978. This was not the great immortal elder in Su Yan's memory. This was the space-time emperor at his peak. His left hand grasped time, and his right hand grasped space-time. This was an invincible battle prowess that shook the universe, suppressing the immortal kings. He used his strongest and invincible battle prowess to break through this path and kill his way to the end. Coronation, this is the coronation battle. Su Yan's eyes widened, emitting a powerful spiritual will. He roared, "One day, I will be coronated as an emperor in the imperial city. I will be coronated as an emperor." He had transformed into the most powerful demonic god and illuminated the starry sky of the universe. This was the belief of being unrivaled in the present age. It burned fiercely and intensely. Although he seemed insignificant under the blood-stained emperor's robe, he had the most terrifying heart of a powerhouse. At the same time, Su Yan was a little surprised. Did one have to go through this path to become an emperor? The coronation of the emperor in the imperial city was targeted at the younger generation. It was a title given. But what did it mean to become an emperor on this path? Su Yan was a little confused. The blood-stained path was inexplicably terrifying. He could vaguely see the figure of the great immortal elder, rushing to the peak. His aura filled the sky as if he was standing at the peak of the immortal world, turning into an invincible emperor. In the past, the great immortal elder said that an emperor needed to break through the supreme order of the laws and reach new heights on this path. Only then could he be an emperor. But what was the meaning of the emperor's road? What was the meaning of his existence? There seemed to be some differences between coronation and emperor. "You surprised me." Suddenly, a figure appeared in Su Yan's eyes. The old and frail great immortal elder came, walking step by step towards Su Yan. He let out a sigh. He did not expect Su Yan to see the emperor's road. This was beyond his expectations. The former empress and the others also came, but the scene they saw was completely different from Su Yan's. The 33 levels of Hell Sea were created by the great immortal elder. After waiting for a long time, he did not see any young person break through the 33rd level. Because this test tested the heart. Great immortal elder. Su Yan was a little confused. He hesitated for a moment and asked, "I passed. Do you have any more questions?" The great immortal elder raised his head and laughed. "I really didn't think that you would use this kind of situation to break through. Su Yan, you really surprised me. You were born as a war god." War god? To be recognized as a war god by the grand immortal elder meant a lot. Junior doesn't understand. Su Yan scratched his head. What he had experienced earlier was very complicated. He could not describe it clearly, but if he had really spent billions of years, using the power of time and space, I created the 33rd level of the abyssal ocean, the Sea of Illusions. Grand Immortal said, "This Sea of Illusions tests one's heart. It tests one's emotions and desires. Your faith is very strong, but what surprised me is that you only want to survive. I only believe in my own eyes. What I see with my own eyes is the truth." Su Yan was silent for a while. His tone was somewhat low as he said, "Some scenes have touched my heart, but I don't believe it." The great immortal elder sighed. This also meant that Su Yan's experience was too complicated. Surviving sounded easy, but it was actually very difficult for Su Yan. He had experienced too many life and death situations. In the past, some challengers had more complicated experiences. After all, the great immortal elder used his Emperor Tao to create the Sea of Illusions. What was the difference between this and reality? Su Yan's way of breaking through had surprised him deeply. The most dangerous desires, greed and lust, were almost gone. Of course, this had something to do with Su Yan's life experience. He had relied on his strong tenacity to survive, but in the end, his hatred had evolved into a desire to become stronger. Su Yan buried hatred in his heart, but it was too laughable to let an emperor race fall. Without great power, how could it be done? Otherwise, Su Yan wouldn't have seen the blood-stained Emperor Road. Only with a strong enough heart could he see the final test. May I ask, great immortal elder, has no one really broken through the 33rd level of heaven before? Yen asked. There has been in the past, but I don't recognize it, so it failed. The great immortal elder's reply caused Su Yan to be stunned. The great immortal elder really had a personality. However, this was a challenge that he had created. As for how the challengers would pass the challenge, it was up to the great immortal elder to decide. Because what was tested here was the human heart, not the Tao heart, not strength, and not talent. What the immortal world needs are experts, experts who can truly support heaven and earth. The great immortal elder said in a low voice, Su Yan, the path of experts is filled with corpses. Looking at the entire immortal world, the number of emperors born is really too few. This path is also very dangerous. Junior doesn't understand. Could it be that emperors really need heaven and earth to seal them? Su Yan asked. What do you think? The great immortal elder asked. I believe even more that man can conquer the heavens. Su Yan shouted, his entire body exuding boundless essence, energy, and spirit. Without a doubt, his will had transformed. It was supreme, no one could suppress him. He had his own path, and wouldn't be affected by any factors. What a pity! The great immortal elder sighed. Why does great immortal elder say this? Su Yan's aura devoured rivers and mountains, his long black hair falling down his shoulders. I don't feel like my path is wrong. What I said just now wasn't this point. The great immortal elder waved his hand, saying with a sigh, for you to be able to say this, it has something to do with your growth. At the same time, if my guess isn't wrong, it also has something to do with the ancient scriptures you cultivate. Su Yan couldn't help but nod. All living things started from the beginning, rising from the weak. His path became wider and wider, and the more he walked, the more grand it became. The heart of an expert was as steady as a boulder, unable to be affected or changed by any factors. What did great immortal elder mean just now? Su Yan asked curiously. Nothing much. Su Yan, you have already passed. Make a trip to my cave when you return. The great immortal elder seemed a bit disappointed. Su Yan was a good seedling, and even he had the thought of taking him in as a disciple. However, Su Yan firmly believed in his own path, so he gave up on that thought. He only felt that it was a pity. He didn't know if he could wait for a disciple who could satisfy him in his lifetime. Junior understands. Su Yan's eyes flashed with joy. He had already passed, and his points were about to soar to the huge amount of 30 million. Maybe the great immortal elder would take care of him, and Su Yan naturally had to make good use of his points. The space-time emperor's figure had already disappeared. Su Yan took a deep breath and walked forward. He saw a path that led to the outside world. Who is it? Suddenly, a cry of surprise exploded, waking up Su Yan, who was in deep thought. At the end of the abyss, there was an old man wearing a lightning robe. He was chained up by one thick chain after another. The 4 chains were forged from the master material, locking up his legs and palms. No matter how Thunder Immortal Elder struggled, he couldn't break these chains. Torture, endless torture. Thunder Immortal Elder felt that he was about to die, but this torture was endless, and there was no time limit at all. Similarly, Thunder Immortal Elder didn't know how much time had passed. Had the great immortal demon war begun? Had Su Yan died? Someone had come. This made Thunder Immortal Elder feel as if he had seen hope. Was his punishment over? Did someone take him away? In the dark abyss, a figure gradually walked out. As the figure approached and the face became clear, Thunder Immortal Elder was dumbfounded. He was even trembling, his lips were trembling, and his eyes were bloodshot, as if they were about to explode. Su Yan, it's Su Yan. How could it be him? How could he come here? Thunder Immortal Elder, long time no see. Su Yen walked in front, looked at him and said, "When I saw you that year, you were truly divine and peerless, your authority overflowed the heavens like an emperor." Su Yen, you despicable person. Thunder Immortal Elder laughed angrily. You came here just to humiliate me? Sentence? Although I am trapped here, it doesn't mean that I will be trapped here forever. You killed my son, Little Thunder, and took away Big Thunder's participation title. Although I don't know what method you used to make the great Immortal Elder speak for you, don't be complacent for too long. Thunder Immortal Elder, you're really confident. Su Yen coldly snorted, cast a sidelong glance at him and said, "You're just an immoral Immortal Elder. Why do you need me to ask the great Immortal Elder to speak for me? You only have yourself to blame. Also, do you think I'm that free? Coming here to humiliate you, you're really thinking too much." You. Thunder Immortal Elder pointed at Su Yen. His expression was very abnormal. Suddenly, a trace of fear flashed in his eyes. Could it be that Su Yen passed the abyssal ocean? But how is that possible? Su Yen smiled and shook his head, too lazy to say another word to him. Stop. Thunder Immortal Elder's eyes were filled with anger and hatred as he said, "Su Yen, don't think that just because you got the participation title of the Great Immortal Demon War, you can reach the heavens in one step. What do you think the Immortal Demon battlefield is? When the time comes, you won't even know how you died. You don't have to worry about that." Su Yen coldly shouted, "You should worry more about yourself. Being chained here is really pitiful." Su Yen, you piece of trash, piece of trash. Thunder Immortal Elder's face was mournful as he roared, "Trash from the lower realm, how long can you live? Will the Xian people and the reincarnation emperor race forgive you? It's only temporary safety. If you dare to take half a step into the Emperor City, it will be your end." Su Yen slapped over, causing Thunder Immortal Elder's face to tremble violently. This slap was very heavy. Su Yen used the power of the Immortal King Realm Suppression Furnace. Su Yen, Thunder Immortal Elder, was about to go crazy. His whole body glowed and divine light burst out. His body was like a violent sea of lightning, trying to break the chains. However, the more he struggled, the more powerful the power of the four chains became. Unparalleled laws and orders extended out and locked down Thunder Immortal Elder's body, imprisoning the source of energy in his body. "Old thing, you're already locked up, and you still dare to threaten me." Su Yen slapped him again, causing the other half of his face to be badly mutilated. He still felt that it was not enough to vent his anger, so he kicked fiercely. Thunder Immortal Elder was about to go crazy. Su Yen punched and kicked him, beating him up like a sandbag. Who was he? Immortal Elder Academy's third Immortal Elder, whose authority overflowed into the heavens. But Su Yen, a Daesong, dared to beat him up here. "You still dare to glare at me?" Su Yen threw an uppercut and shouted at the same time, "I have to say, I'm very happy. Seeing Thunder Immortal Elder imprisoned here, I'm really happy. But beating you up makes me even happier. Take this." Su Yen beat a drowning dog to vent the anger in his heart. "Your skin is rough and your flesh is thick. It's too hard to hit." Su Yen finished a set of moves and said, "Oh right, Thunder Immortal Elder, let me tell you something. Phoenix King has already become an Immortal Elder of Immortal Academy. I really have to thank you for your help. I heard that the fourth Immortal Elder and the others' positions have already been moved forward. And even if you really go out, you won't be one of the 10 great Immortal Elders of Immortal Academy." Su Yen, Thunder Immortal Elder, roared miserably. His arms trembled. He was like a ferocious giant beast. He suddenly rose from the ground and pounced towards Su Yen. Unfortunately, he couldn't rush over. Su Yen's back was already far away from Thunder Immortal Elder. He went crazy here, roaring into the heavens. He was about to lose his mind. He opened his mouth and wanted to swallow Su Yen alive, eating him until not even bones were left. Su Yan shivered. This old thing hated him too much. Once he was released, he would definitely take revenge on him. I have to find a chance to kill him. Su Yan's words made Thunder Immortal Elder, who was screaming miserably, panic. He didn't dare to say anything else. Chapter 1979. He's out. After 3 days and 3 nights, Su Yan has finally come out. Outside the abyssal ocean, a large number of cultivators were watching. They were paying close attention to Su Yan's progress. 3 days and 3 nights. I wonder how many levels Su Yan has passed? Someone muttered. It's a bit fast, but with Su Yan's will, it won't be difficult for him to reach the 30th level. He might even reach the 31st level. The abyssal ocean's deacon sent Su Yan's record to the stone steel. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion rang out, shaking heaven and earth. It was accompanied by strange energy ripples that swept across the distant land. Soon, it affected the entire Imperial Star. That's, in the Immortal Elder Academy, a large number of Immortal Elders walked out. Their expressions changed drastically as they pointed at the abyssal ocean's stone steel. Their eyes were filled with shock. Is he going to break the record? Some of the Immortal Elders were shocked. They couldn't believe their eyes. Su Yan's name climbed all the way to the top 10, and it was still rising. He was already in the top 3, but his ranking was still rising crazily. What's going on? The Phoenix King was overjoyed. This was a terrifying matter. Su Yan's name soared all the way to the top. The Empress and the others were all suppressed. A name that surpassed the past and present rushed to the top. It was as if he had turned into an invincible immortal king, looking down on all the geniuses and overlords. Heavens! The saints trembled and cried out crazily. Su Yan's time in the abyssal ocean directly suppressed all the other names, dominating the first place. This was a vast storm. It shook the immortal cave and stunned tens of millions of geniuses. A heaven's equal saint king who could split a heavenly martial king in the imperial city's arena. His body was comparable to the Empress's, and his will was unparalleled in the past and present. This day was destined to not be peaceful. The sky was filled with news. The Tenrai of Beach and the others were all silent when they received the news. Su Yan's ranking was too shocking. Could his will be infinitely close to that of a monarch? Su Yan's ranking was at the 32nd level of the abyssal ocean, and his speed was the fastest. This was very shocking. Even the Empress was astonished when she heard the news. With such a strong spiritual will, he was bound to shine brilliantly in the future. Su Yan's reputation rose once again, and he had already risen to the top of the Immortal Grotto. If Su Yan were to emerge victorious in the war, it would be the day when Su Yan's name would spread throughout the immortal world. Su Yan, charge ahead. The higher you climb, the louder the voices will be, and the higher the death rate. Tiandao King was really jealous. Su Yan had been in the Immortal Cave for less than a year, but his popularity had already surpassed Tiandao King's. He was at the top of the Immortal Cave. Phoenix King, go into seclusion in peace and cherish this rare opportunity. I look forward to seeing you return to your peak and reach new height. The old monkey laughed heartily. The Phoenix King was already an elder of Immortal Elder Courtyard. The great Immortal Elder had also taken care of the Phoenix King, allowing him to cultivate in a supreme cave for free. The Phoenix King hadn't finished refining the universe treasure liquid, but his injuries had already improved a lot. Now, the Phoenix King was about to enter the Immortal King Cave. Once he returned to his peak, he might be able to take another step forward. I won't waste any more time. My time is already very limited. The Phoenix King laughed. After all, this was the Immortal Cave. With his cultivation, cultivating inside for a month wasn't a simple 100,000 point. The price he had to pay was huge. Monkey King, don't forget to inform me when the time comes. I will also go to the 3-realm battlefield. Before leaving, the Phoenix King got rid of the Monkey King. This made the Monkey King bitterly smile. The Phoenix King still couldn't let go. Monkey King, there's no need to say too much. My main purpose in going to the three-realm battlefield is to do my best to help Su Yan. Once the battle starts, we have to go and support Su Yan. The Phoenix King laughed heartily. He was looking forward to Su Yan's performance in the Immortal Devil War. If he could really win 3 battles, that kind of influence would be unparalleled. Wu Hong and the others came to congratulate him. Su Yan had completely established his position this time. Even if he didn't stay in the Immortal Cave in the future, Immortal Elder Courtyard would definitely do their best to recruit him. He would most likely enter the core of the Immortal World. Great Immortal Elder wants me to go. I won't speak too much with you all. Su Yan smiled. Great Immortal Elder wants you to go? The Sky Force King's eyes flashed with a strange light. He secretly transmitted, Su Yan, this is great news. Just wait and see. The Immortal Cave will be shaken very soon. Great news. Su Yan was surprised. What did the Sky Force King mean? He didn't say it clearly. This time, Su Yan didn't need the Chaos Immortal Elder to lead him. He was unimpeded and once again arrived at the Great Immortal Elder's cave. When he arrived at the Emperor's cave again, Su Yan had a different understanding. Especially when he saw the 3 realms Heavenly River again, he had a new understanding. He was able to see further and deeper. Su Yan was even more determined on his path. His entire body emitted a powerful belief, as if he had been baptized. His flesh was sparkling and shining, overflowing with multicolored light. Great Immortal Elder Jr. is here. Su Yan shouted towards the 3 realms Heavenly River. However, Su Yan's body was somewhat out of control. He fell towards the 3 realms Heavenly River. The silver lake rippled. Even if Su Yan was a grain of sand, the moment he fell into the 3 realms Heavenly River, huge waves were raised. The silver lake rippled, steaming with rich time and space-time energy. Every drop of water was as vast and majestic as the universe. They pressed down heavily, covering Su Yan's flesh shell. His flesh and blood trembled, and the blood in his body declined to the extreme. He fell into a land of death. Moreover, his feet, which had fallen completely into the lake, cracked silently. His flesh and blood withered without any energy, turning into a crippled body. Great Immortal Elder, Su Yan complained. How could he withstand the suppression of the 3 realms Heavenly River? Although the 3 realms Heavenly River didn't emit any killing intent, how could Su Yan withstand these drops of lake water? What did the Great Immortal Elder mean by this? Could it be a brand new trial? When half of his body fell into the 3 realms Heavenly River, Su Yan felt that the lower half of his body was destroyed. There was no vitality, and it was constantly being destroyed. The terrifying power of time and the grand space-time airflow drowned Su Yan, from his chest to his neck and then to his face. The process was really a little frightening. Su Yan didn't have any room to resist. The moment he completely fell into the lake, it was as if he had really died. His flesh was reduced to an empty shell, and no blood essence could be detected. Boom! Suddenly, a large hand reached over, and a golden pill spun in the palm. It dissolved layer by layer, and golden energy scattered down. This was the Immortal King Regeneration Pill refined with the blood of an Immortal King. In an instant, it scattered a vast amount of vitality and penetrated Su Yan's crippled body. In a short period of time, Su Yan awakened from his decline and erupted in silence. In a short period of time, he stood at the peak. After all, the 3 realms Heavenly River didn't destroy Su Yan's body. It only swallowed the blood essence in Su Yan's body. Now, with the Immortal King Regeneration Pill, it strengthened Su Yan's body. All his pores were gushing with the tide of life. It was powerful and prosperous. Su Yan's body was blazing and perfect. Su Yan, who was at the peak of the 8th heaven, was filled with shocking power. He could easily erupt with endless sacred power. The great immortal elder grabbed Su Yen out of the Three Realms' heavenly river. A huge crack appeared in the silver lake, and a tricolored river rushed out from it. This is... Su Yen was shocked. The tricolored river was black, gold, and white. 3 rivers that were 100 feet long flowed in the void. The terrifying heavenly might of the great Tao pressed down, causing the vast space-time to tremble. Gradually, the aura of the tricolored river became violent, shooting out tricolored divine light. Each divine light was like a condensed universe. The 3 divine lights bloomed completely, as if a small structure of the 3 realms was born, filled with the power to suppress immortal kings. Su Yen was shocked. This wasn't the 3 realms' heavenly river, but it contained the power that the 3 realms' heavenly river should have. The tricolored river steamed with supreme laws and order, containing time and space-time. It lay in front of Su Yen, and the flowing aura could be said to be boundlessly terrifying. However, Su Yen felt that he and the tricolored river had a bloodline connection. This was the blood essence that he had scattered in the lake just now, and it had mixed with the tricolored river. That was why Su Yen had this feeling. Great Immortal Elder, this gift is too precious. This junior is ashamed to accept it. Su Yen understood the Great Immortal Elder's intentions. He stood up and said in a deep voice. The Great Immortal Elder had already helped him a lot. Now that he had given him such a supreme treasure, Su Yan's heart was filled with mixed feelings. Su Yan, this treasure isn't for you. It's just for you. The Great Immortal Elder smiled and said, This treasure is the leftover material from when I forged the 3 realms' heavenly river. I forged a small version of the 3 realms' heavenly river. With this item protecting you, you will have a foundation in the 3 realms' battlefield. Lend it to me? Su Yen smiled bitterly. What was the difference between this and giving it to him? His blood essence had already fused with the tricolored river. It was equivalent to one of Su Yan's life treasures. You will have great achievements in the future. I don't want to see you die prematurely. The Great Immortal Elder sighed and said, In the past, many talented young experts of the immortal world were assassinated by the experts of the dark world. For the immortal world, it was a heavy loss. If they had this treasure to protect them, they wouldn't have died prematurely. Of course, with your strength, you won't be able to activate the small version of the 3 realms' heavenly river. The Great Immortal Elder said in a low voice, I have already placed a battle armor in the steel's treasury. You can exchange for it with your point. Su Yen was silent. Was this the benefit that the Heavenly Power King had mentioned? This should be the Great Immortal Elder's personal item. Perhaps the Celestial Devil chessboard was given to the Heavenly Power King by the Great Immortal Elder. Of course, he needed to exchange for it with his point. But the Great Immortal Elder had given it to him free of charge. As the Great Immortal Elder of the Immortal Cave, did he need points? The Celestial Devil chessboard was worth far more than 20 million points. Even the Emperor race would spend a lot of money to bid for it. Over the long years, the Great Immortal Elder had given away many rare treasures to those with great potential to protect themselves. But it was different this time. The Great Immortal Elder had given the small version of the 3 realms' heavenly river to Su Yen. This was a priceless treasure that couldn't be measured by wealth. Great Immortal Elder, I really can't accept your care for this junior. Su Yen stood up and bowed. Su Yen really needed the ultimate treasure. Lil Pagoda's consciousness was asleep, and Su Yen didn't want to move it too much. Moreover, it had killed the celestial tyrant emperor. This was a big matter, and he couldn't easily take it out. Su Yen, you still have a long way to go. You are standing here, but I can't see through you. The Great Immortal Elder waved his hand and said, No matter what happens in the future, if the immortal world encounters a great disaster one day, I hope you can help. Great Immortal Elder, why do you say that? This junior doesn't deserve it. Su Yen was shocked. Go. The Great Immortal Elder waved his hand and sent Su Yen away. His turbid pupils flickered, and he couldn't stand steadily. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. "I'm really old, and I don't have much time left." He tried to deduce Su Yan's future, but the future was filled with fear. The three realms wept blood and gods cried. He could faintly see the outrageous scenes outside the three realms. Who was he? The space-time emperor. His control of time and space-time had reached the peak, but he could only see a corner of Su Yan's future. He couldn't see anything else, and the outrageous scenes of space-time in the future were about to suppress him and kill him. The great immortal elder could even see that Su Yan had a very deep connection and influence with the immortal world. This kind of indescribable influence made the great immortal elder's heart palpitate. Su Yan had a big problem, and his origin might be unimaginable. After all, Su Yan came from the human world, so why did he have such a deep influence with the immortal world? Chapter 1980. Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor. Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor. The imperial planet was in an uproar. Even the immortal kings were shocked. They immediately sent a message to their disciples to gather as many points as possible to exchange for the Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor. One had to know that the Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor was very famous. It once belonged to an elder in the Immortal Cave, but that was a long time ago. The Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor was forged from Heavenly Mystic Source Crystal. It was indestructible, and even a great accomplishment immortal king would find it difficult to destroy it. This treasure was very terrifying. It was the battle armor worn by a great accomplishment immortal king all year round. Its defensive power was extraordinary. 20 million points was very cheap. If this was in the outside world, it would be an extremely terrifying price. The immortal kings and the others rushed over. They rushed to the stone tablet treasury to exchange for the Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor. Unfortunately, they were one step too late. The Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor had only appeared for less than half an incense stick's time, and it had already been exchanged for. Who is it? Who is it? Everyone was in heated discussion. Who was so fast? After all, 20 million points was also a huge amount of wealth. In the core area of the Immortal Cave, there were very few who could take out so many points. Some people thought of Su Yan. He had won more than 10 million points. In addition to the accumulation of these years, it was not difficult for him to obtain the Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor. Su Yan, the outside world has gone crazy. Many people are saying that you took away the Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor. The Heavenly Force King was speechless. He asked, Su Yan, tell me honestly, did you pass the Abyssal Sea? Isn't it written clearly on the recording stone tablet? Su Yan replied with a smile. His eyes were fixed on the Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor. It was completely black and heavy. Its aura was terrifying. It was like a sleeping immortal demon. Su Yan's spiritual sea penetrated the Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor and obtained the scripture to activate this treasure. This treasure is even more amazing than my divine demonic chessboard. Quickly put it on and try it. The Heavenly Force King was a little impatient. The Heavenly Mystic Battle Armor was very famous. Otherwise, the Immortal Cave would not have caused such a big commotion. At this moment, Su Yan donned the Profound Sky Battle Armor. The jet-black armor emitted a cold light that illuminated one's soul. The moment he put it on, Su Yan's entire body changed. He was like a black demon lord standing between the heavens and earth. It was powerful and world-shocking. In an instant, Su Yan's combat prowess skyrocketed, and he pressed towards the Emperor Dao domain and surged towards the taboo level. Pervert too perverted! The Heavenly Power King shouted loudly. The battle armor and Su Yan had fused together perfectly, and this was only the first layer. When he circulated the second layer's chant, the heavenly mysterious battle armor changed, flashing with the supreme law of order, surging with a vast source of energy. Su Yan roared. Heaven and earth trembled, and it was as if the void in the stars was about to collapse. The extremely terrifying vicious might was like an immortal king's domain, making the Heavenly Force King tremble. his chest rising and falling intensely, almost unable to withstand it, and was sent flying. His eyes turned red as he roared, "Su Yen, you filthy rich man. When the time comes, I'll need the heavenly profound battle armor. You better be nice." "Don't worry, ha ha." Su Yen faced the sky and laughed, quickly taking off the heavenly profound battle armor. Su Yan's aura was incomparably weak, and his face was pale, but his eyes were filled with ecstasy. This battle armor was inconceivable, and contained a supreme secret that could increase one's strength. He could barely endure the first 2 layers, and there was no hope for the third. "Not bad, very strong." Big Goldie walked out and said, "It can stand shoulder to shoulder with my battle armor. Great Immortal Elder is quite generous." "Not bad, not bad. Since it's like this, your humanoid puppet can evolve." Originally, Big Goldie had planned to wait for Su Yen to return from the Three Realms battlefield before reconstructing the humanoid puppet. After all, once the puppet was reconstructed, it would take at least half a year. The reason why this heavenly profound battle armor is so valuable is because it has a special method to increase one's combat prowess. The Heavenly Power King said enviously, "The craftsmanship is quite rare. With this treasure protecting your body, you can do whatever you want under the Immortal King realm." "This battle armor can only be used when I become an emperor," Su Yen replied. "It's fine. When the time comes, we'll become emperors together. With the heavenly profound battle armor and the Fiend God chessboard, we can do whatever we want under the Immortal King realm. Even immortal kings can't do anything to us." The Heavenly Power King laughed. "I didn't think that great Immortal Elder would give me the heavenly profound battle armor." Su Yen was silent. The Heavenly Power King's heart sank. He said, "Great Immortal Elder has contributed a lot to the Immortal Cave. He often selflessly gives treasures to the Immortal Cave's outstanding disciples. On the contrary, the Emperor clans don't receive this treatment. After all, they don't lack these things. Selfless contribution." Su Yan's respect for the great Immortal Elder grew. It was the Immortal Realm's fortune that this kind of person stood at the core of the Immortal Realm. The Heavenly Power King patted Su Yan's shoulder. Although the Xian people wanted to kill Su Yan, most of the Immortal Realm's clans were upright. Otherwise, the Immortal Realm would have been rotten long ago. The great Immortal Elder's action made Su Yan less prejudiced against the Immortal Realm. There were still a few months before the start of the Great Immortal Demon War. Time was getting more and more precious. They were about to rush to the Three Realms battlefield. Of course, even if the Great Immortal Demon War ended, Su Yan didn't plan to leave anytime soon. Small Pagoda had given him guidance. He had to explore the Three Realms battlefield. After waiting for the heavenly profound battle armor to disappear, Su Yan went to the Stone Tablet's treasury and exchanged for some precious pills. He naturally had to prepare an Immortal King regeneration pill. "I'm almost out." Su Yan sighed. This trip wasn't in vain. The harvest was too great. Baokai also accumulated a huge amount of points. It also went to the Abyssal Ocean. Its points soared, reaching more than 7 million. Su Yan gave the remaining 1 million to Baokai. Baokai also borrowed 3 million points from the Heavenly Power King. Finally, it got an Immortal King weapon, the Immortal King White Tiger Seal. East Demon sent a letter. Baokai said excitedly, "East Demon is like a fish in water on the battlefield. He has accumulated a lot of battle merit. The third battlefield also has a huge treasury. The Immortal Phoenix army now has 300,000 soldiers. Xiongli looks after East Demon very well. He lent him a lot of battle merit. East Demon also got a great killing weapon." Su Yan secretly got some rare treasures in the Immortal Cave and sent them away. Although this wasn't forbidden, as long as it wasn't too valuable, no one would ask. With the help of these rare resources, East Demon was about to reach the peak of the Daesong realm. Su Yan hoped that East Demon would reach the Emperor level soon. At that time, his position on the battlefield would be even more important. He would be able to become the pillar of the battlefield. In the following days, Su Yen often asked the Chaos Immortal Elders and the others to accumulate a lot of experience. The Monkey King told Su Yen not to rush to break through the peak of the Daesong realm. It would be best if he could break through the barriers in battle and rush to the peak of the Sage realm. This would be very beneficial for the final 3 realms of cultivation. The days were a little leisurely. Su Yen recited scriptures and studied the great Tao scriptures. He also spent more and more time with Bamboo Moon. Bamboo Moon could understand Su Yan's state of mind. A great battle was coming, and he was serious like never before. The more relaxed Su Yen was, the more dangerous the situation would be. Su Yen wouldn't underestimate the dark world. In this battle, they came with great momentum. They definitely had a powerful trump card. One day, Su Yen put down the scriptures. His face was full of a scholar's aura. Did you hear it? Su Yen stood up. He was wearing a white robe. His face was calm and his eyes were deep. I heard it. Bamboo Moon also stood up. In this brilliant star hole, she nervously held Su Yan's arm and said, 9 bells. It's time to go. The great war of immortals and demons has begun. It's begun. Su Yan's long hair draped over his shoulders. They're here. They're here. The great war of immortals and demons had begun. They were about to set off for the 3 realms battlefield. They're here. The immortal cave stirred up a storm as if it had entered an era of war. Everywhere was in an uproar, indicating the arrival of a terrible era. War cries rolled like the sea, surging violently. In the Emperor's Star, where the young overlords gathered, the mountains and rivers seemed to be burning with terrifying brilliance. The sky was filled with the flames of war, erupting violently. The momentum was vast to the extreme. Empress, in the state of the Emperor's Star, the Empress was the first to stand up. Wearing the heavenly Emperor armor, she gathered all the glory between heaven and earth. She was so powerful that she could dominate the world and be invincible. Immortal Lord! A group of women screamed excitedly. This was too famous in the immortal cave. He was a peerless handsome man with peerless beauty, ethereal like an immortal. Behind him, there were monstrous scenes. There were shadows of immortal emperors and domains suppressing emperors. The immortal Lord cultivated the 2 supreme inheritances of the Xian people. His strength was shocking. Heavenly Eye King! There were also people who cried out loudly. A purple-robed male walked out, radiance surging from his forehead bone. Purple energy overflowed, intimidating heaven, earth, rivers, and mountains. When his tightly closed heavenly eyes opened, the sun and moon sank, destroying heaven and earth. The most ancient 3 emperor families of the immortal world. The Empress, the immortal Lord, and the Heavenly Eye King. Without a doubt, they were all the young figures of the immortal world. Then, the Heavenly Dragon Lady, the Heavenly Power King, the Heavenly Sovereign King, the Heavenly Tao King, and the Barbarian God walked out one after another. Heavenly King of the Starry Sky Clan. Another shocking god of war rose from the ground. He was like the Lord of the Starry Sky. His aura filled the sea of stars, so terrifying that the world was trembling. Heaven's equal Sage King. Another cheer resounded. Su Yen walked over step by step. His white robe was whiter than snow, and his black hair was draped over his shoulders. He looked ordinary, but in fact, in his silent state, he was like an invincible god of war. The 10 participating gods of war. The 10 peerless geniuses. It hovered in the cave of the immortals, like a blazing sun in the sky, emitting endless glory. The Tenrai of Beech's face darkened. This was his glory. How could he be willing to let Su Yen take it away from him? Su Yen, I'll wait for the news of your death in the Heaven's Cave. I believe it will be soon. The Tenrai of Beech's expression was cold as he turned around and left. Lei Hongbao and the others sighed. They wanted to shout that the Tenrai of Beech was so peerless. He had mastered the heaven-opening thunder scripture and was not inferior to the Heavenly Power King, but his slot was taken away. Even Xian Weihuan of the Xian people was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. The slot of the heavenly martial king was given to the barbarian god. Boom! In the next moment, a huge altar on the imperial planet shone, flashing with endless supreme law patterns. A huge spacetime road opened, and the destination was the Three Realms battlefield. Bamboo Moon, let's go! Fairy Zixia pulled Bamboo Moon, who was in a daze, and urged her to go. Otherwise, once the teleportation formation on the altar closed, it would take too long to go to the Three Realms battlefield. By the time they got there, it would be too late. Zixia, I'm not going. Bamboo Moon looked at her, then looked at the indomitable Su Yan in front of her and said, I'll wait for the good news in my mansion in the Imperial City. Are you stupid? Fairy Zixia glared. Not going? Bamboo Moon wanted to go, but she gave up. She knew that Su Yan would be in a lot of danger. I have a child. Little Su Yan will stay here with me. Bamboo Moon stroked her belly. She could feel a tiny life slowly growing. She didn't know how many years it would take for it to be born. She didn't tell Su Yan, worried that he would be distracted. What's wrong? Fairy Zixia was surprised. Zhu Yu transmitted a message to Zixia, telling her to wait until the great immortal demon war was over before telling him about this matter. I know. Fairy Zixia was also excited. Bamboo Moon was also thinking about Su Yan's condition. Chapter 1981. The ancient altar shone, flowing with supreme laws of order. They surged towards the peak of the heavens, interweaving into a space-time wormhole. A large group of experts walked out from Immortal Elder Academy, guarding the space-time wormhole to prevent any unforeseen events from happening along the way. Su Yan and the others arrived inside. The space-time wormhole was large enough to contain the heavens and seas. It was boundless, releasing a vast space-time aura. Ingjie from Immortal Cave would head towards the Three Realms battlefield whenever the Great War of Immortals and Demons began in the past. This time was naturally no exception, and there were even more than before. Roar, a bugle horn sounded from Emperor Star, shaking the 9 heavens, announcing the start of the journey. It made everyone's blood boil, their battle blood surging. The great war of immortals and demons that occurred once every million years had begun. Emperor City was in an uproar. There were already experts who sensed that the enormous and vast space-time wormhole filled the sky, starting to cross into the outer realms. It's too big. What level is this trans-realm transportation formation? Someone cried out in alarm. This was a visual shock. Even a corner of the space-time wormhole was vast beyond compare. This is one of the immortal world's most powerful trans-realm transportation formations. Rumor has it that it was forged by an emperor. Once this kind of trans-realm transportation formation is activated, the amount of resources needed is unimaginable. Moreover, it can cross 1,000,000 ancient realms in a short amount of time, its speed ridiculously fast. As early as a year ago, there were already groups of people who set out on warships, crossing the outerverse, heading towards the Three Realms battlefield. After all, the journey was long, and without a powerful trans-realm transportation formation, crossing it in a short amount of time was nothing more than a fool's dream. Once a trans-realm transportation formation was activated, the price was extremely high. Even the Emperor clans rarely used this type of transportation formation. The Great War of Immortals and Demons has begun. Emperor City was in an uproar. There were veterans who had been on the battlefield for a long time who roared, "Triumph! Triumph! Triumph!" The entire Emperor City resonated, the shouts endless, shattering the clouds that covered the sky, erupting with terrifying calling sounds, even forming the sound of heaven and earth, sweeping through the vast cosmos, simply about to spread through the entire immortal realm. Triumph! Behind the Emperor City, there were 10 boundlessly majestic battlefields. The boundless battlefield world was shaking, the millions and millions of troops of the immortal world were roaring. The battle for supremacy of the younger generation was about to begin. Their blood was boiling, they wanted nothing more than to go and participate. The Sky Force King and the others had participated in the Immortal Demon War many times, and their blood was boiling as well. Kill, someone couldn't help but roar. Their influence was too great, they seemed to have gathered the attention of the entire immortal world. Only by winning would the hopes they had placed on them not be wasted. Boom! In an instant, the space-time wormhole tore through the sky, and the moment it crossed the outerverse, the entire wormhole ignited. The protective runes shone brilliantly as they withstood the outerverse's repulsive force and forcefully opened up a river of time and space. All of a sudden, Su Yen felt as if he had crossed thousands of ancient worlds, crossing an immeasurable distance. "How far is it?" a disciple muttered. His mind was a little dazed. The speed was too fast. The long river of time and space was faintly distorted. If it weren't for the protection of the space-time wormhole, these people would have been torn to pieces by the terrifying speed. Even with such a fast speed, it still takes 1 day and 1 night? They were extremely shocked. Old Xian explained to them that the Three Realms battlefield was very far from the celestial realm. Otherwise, once the Three Realms battlefield started, it would affect the celestial realm. Thus, the distance was difficult to measure. Su Yan's eyes scanned the surroundings. Through the space-time wormhole, he saw the dusky outerverse. It was boundless, and there were very few stars. Everywhere was lifeless. Along the way, Su Yen saw one huge warship after another. These were the warships of the various clans of the celestial realm. They were hurrying in the outerverse. Some were going to participate in the war, while others were going to join the army. The death rate in the Three Realms battlefield was very high, but there was also a large army guarding it. Almost all of them were veterans transferred from the 10 major battlefields and rushed to the battlefield. Although it was the main battlefield of Immortal Kings, a large number of Sage Realm powerhouses gathered together and could display a powerful deterrent force. However, the death rate was too high. The huge space-time wormhole was quiet, and the Immortal Kings inside had solemn expressions. The Phoenix King hadn't come. It had reached the most critical moment. The Monkey King didn't disturb her. He estimated that the Phoenix King would be able to ascend to the Immortal King realm in a few years if she was slow. The Universe Treasure Liquid was of great help to him. At the same time, the Monkey King also took the opportunity to recover his declining vitality. Gradually, the space-time wormhole's speed slowed down. Su Yen could clearly see that a huge storm had appeared in front of them. Although the space-time wormhole was suddenly isolated, the experts still felt cold all over. What is that? The space-time wormhole was somewhat unstable. After entering the turbulence, the huge wormhole's space-time faintly trembled. However, the order runes covering the wormhole were overflowing with resplendent light, forcibly resisting the suppression of the dark storm that filled the sky. "It's rare to encounter space-time turbulence," an Immortal King said in a low voice. "We're already very close to the Three Realms battlefield. That place is very dangerous. Space-time turbulence often sweeps in. If an Immortal King falls in, it's very difficult to kill his way out." Su Yen was shocked. His understanding of the Three Realms battlefield was limited. Legend had it that in ancient times, it wasn't called the Three Realms battlefield, but the Three Realms Mountain. Legend had it that the Three Realms Mountain was a special place formed by the interweaving of the laws of the Three Realms. It hid various heavenly immortal treasures, supreme treasures that were hard to find, and unimaginable fortunes. It contained shocking opportunities. Ever since the Great War broke out between the Three Realms, the Three Realms Mountain was said to have collapsed and gradually turned into a battlefield world. After experiencing endless years of slaughter, blood flowed one era after another without extinguishing. It naturally formed a great vicious aura. However, it was also accompanied by heavenly fate and great fortunes. Legend had it that the Three Realms battlefield was like trying one's luck. One could even obtain an emperor medicine. Su Yan, it's said that the Three Realms Mountain still exists. Su Yan and the others listened to the group of immortal elders' discussion. The Sky Force King came over and said in a low voice, "It's said that the Three Realms Mountain is broken, but it has turned into the most dangerous place in the Three Realms battlefield. It also contains great opportunities." "Have you been to the Three Realms Mountain?" Su Yan asked in secret. The Sky Force King stared and said, "Even immortal kings have a frightening chance of dying there. Even emperors find it difficult to fully explore. The Three Realms Mountain is extremely vast. In short, it's a forbidden region of the universe, just like the immortal world's burial realm. However, the Three Realms Mountain is even more shocking. A place where the laws of the Three Realms converge. That's incredible, very frightening." The Sky Force King was speechless. In the past, there were also those who managed to come out alive and obtain great fortunes. It's even said that there were experts who obtained great fortunes in the Three Realms Mountain and obtained the qualifications to be emperors. Su Yan was stupefied. Such a terrifying place of fortune contained the opportunity to become an emperor. However, the Sky Force King shook his head. "It's too difficult to come out alive. There was once an immortal king who brought an emperor's weapon on an adventure, but he was turned into ashes." Su Yan was astonished. Great immortal elders, Three Realms galaxy forging materials. Could it be that they came from the Three Realms Mountain? Even the history of the Three Realms Mountain was immeasurable. Countless years had passed, and even emperors hadn't been able to completely explore the broken Three Realms Mountain. Thus, if they dared to take the risk now, it would be tantamount to suicide. Anyway, the Sky Force King's smile was somewhat wretched. "There are many fortunes in the Three Realms battlefield. I really want to take the risk. If you want to die, don't drag Su Yan down with you." Heavenly Dragon Maiden also came. She glared at the Sky Force King and said, "One shouldn't be too greedy. The Three Realms battlefield has existed for so long. Even if there was a chance, it would have been taken away by others long ago." "I'm just saying," the Sky Force King said. "Heavenly Dragon Maiden, you have the myriad dragon armor, but we don't have anything. Don't you think so, Su Yan? When we go to the Three Realms Mountain, we might be able to dig out a peak true treasure." Heavenly Dragon Maiden's face darkened. Even if the Sky Force King encountered a great fortune in the Three Realms battlefield, he might not be able to compare to the myriad dragon armor and Heavenly Emperor armor. "Sky Force King, your ambition is really big." Heavenly Tao King suddenly came and interjected. "Right now we should be thinking about the immortal demon war. Do I need you to talk so much?" The Sky Force King's words were unfriendly. Heavenly Tao King's expression turned cold. He didn't want to provoke the Sky Force King. He said to Su Yan, "Su Yan, don't you think so? You're the main force of the competition. You should focus on how to win the battle. You really have a lot to worry about." Su Yan looked at Tiandao King and sneered. "Su Yan, I'm reminding you out of kindness. Why don't you know how to appreciate it?" Heavenly Tao King wasn't happy. He had the innate Tao body and was extremely powerful. He said coldly, "Don't think that just because you defeated the Sky Force King, you can defeat the young Overlord of the Dark World." "You don't say." "I think so." Su Yan sneered. "Your tone is really big." Heavenly Tao King's expression was cold. "If you don't even have the confidence to win, you might as well go home and drink milk." Su Yan waved his hand as if he was chasing away a fly. "You." Heavenly Tao King was furious. His body faintly rippled with a vast great Tao heavenly might. "I advise you not to provoke me." Su Yan pointed at him and said, "Stay away from me." "Good, good, good." Heavenly Tao King's tone was low as he laughed angrily. "Su Yan, I'm guiding you out of kindness, but you don't know how to appreciate it. Let's see how long you can laugh." Seeing him leave, Heavenly Dragon Maiden shook her head and said, "He's not a good person. These days, He has been spreading the news that you are the main force of the competition. Su Yan, how did you offend him? I'm not sure. Why should I care about him? Su Yan shook his head and couldn't be bothered. He also had a lot on his mind. He didn't know what the trump card left behind by the ancient celestial emperors was guiding him to. Su Yan was even thinking, could it be guiding the three-world mountain? Have we arrived? Someone whispered. The space-time wormhole slowed down again, and they saw some scenery. In the dark world there was gradually land. However, it was too quiet. They couldn't hear anything. It was a boundless dark world. Even the oceans and rivers were lifeless. The border area, Elder Xian replied. The three-realm battlefield was very large, so vast that it was a bit ridiculous. The ancient land was also boundless. After passing through the dark world, the scene in front of them was a bit dark red, as if blood flowers were blooming, covering the boundless starry sky. We've arrived. Someone cried out in alarm. This world was too big. Even the space-time wormhole seemed insignificant. This was because in this world the sky was unimaginably deep. The stars in the sky were dyed with blood light, as if a vast sea of primal chaos was at the peak of the sky. The earth was vast, grand, and boundless. Looking forward, it was so oppressive that one couldn't breathe. This was because there were groups of soldiers. They were densely packed as far as the eye could see. There were too many. There were countless soldiers, giant birds that rested in the air, immortal kings with powerful auras. They towered at the limits of heaven and earth, guarding the borders. They released an incomparable pressure, making many people feel like they couldn't pass through. This was especially true for the young cultivators who rarely went to the battlefield. Their faces were pale, and they were about to fall to the ground. Chapter 1982. The Chaos Immortal Elder frowned. With a wave of his hand, he restrained these cultivators who couldn't stand still. Expel them. His eyes flashed coldly. What was this place? What were they doing here? What was the Immortal Cave? If the veterans of the bloody battlefield saw the group of young men and women in the Immortal Cave who couldn't even stand still, they would be greatly disappointed. The dozen young men and women were pale as paper, and sweat poured down like rain. It was too embarrassing to be expelled like this. Battlefield, Su Yin muttered to himself. It was too big, vast, and boundless. Immortal kings seemed weak. The smell of blood was pungent. The aura between heaven and earth was bone-chilling. The murderous aura surged, invading one's soul. People who lived here for a long time would be tortured to the point of insanity. The ground was covered in blood and corpses were everywhere. Many of them didn't have time to clean up. In the vast and boundless battlefield, the bloody light covered the sun. Countless soldiers stood at the front, slaughtering endlessly. Woo-woo, cries could be heard. Some soldiers dug out corpses from the pile of corpses. They were all meritorious people who had died on the battlefield. Their corpses were half mutilated, and blood flowed continuously. There was no doubt that a great battle had just broken out here. Many old experts of the immortal world had fallen. This was the burial ground of heroic spirits, the place where the blood of experts flowed. Even great emperors would die here. In the vast battlefield world, some tribes, stone houses, and military camps were mostly dilapidated. The immortal world had once tried to build a huge city here. Unfortunately, they didn't succeed. There was only a wall made of blood and bones. It spanned hundreds of millions of miles, and was surrounded by the smell of blood. A wall that spanned hundreds of millions of miles. The wall towered into the outer realm. There were some cracks and gaps. Some people found that a large number of soldiers were smelting the corpses of the dead to repair the broken wall. This scene touched the hearts of many. Many disciples of the immortal cave were shocked. With corpses as the wall, the sun, the moon, and the stars as the cornerstone, they guarded this place at the front. When Su Yen and the others approached, the wall seemed to have come alive. It turned into a giant beast that spanned hundreds of millions of miles. The smell of blood rose like the sea, and it emitted the roars of ancient heroic spirits. It was enough to tear one's spirit and will. It was extremely terrifying and horrifying, as if millions and millions of gods and devils were rushing out from the walls, filling the starry sky with endless vicious might. How many years did it take to build such a terrifying wall? A disciple asked in a trembling voice. It was built with the blood and bones of our ancestors. It's too cruel. You guys have too little experience. The Chaos Immortal Elder frowned and said in a deep voice, once the strongest battle begins, countless lines of defense will be destroyed. Without the wall of immortals and demons at the forefront, the casualties will be even greater. You are all lucky to have grown up in the Immortals' Cavern and live in the most powerful cave heaven in the immortal realm. Look at this battlefield, look at this world. Every time there is a war, millions of soldiers in the immortal realm will die. How disastrous the casualties are. An old expert released a low roar, feeling as if his heart was being twisted by a blade. He lost control of his emotions. Back then, he was also one of them, surviving through endless torment. The war between races was the cruelest. It was either you die or I die. The only way was to advance bravely. Some people understood why the great immortal elder punished Shao Di. The battlefield of the three realms required immortal kings to guard it, especially immortal kings at the grand completion stage. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying figure jumped down from the top of the wall of immortals and demons, causing the vast world to turn dark. The stars in the sky trembled. This was an unparalleled divine might that suddenly pressed down. It was an old man in a black robe, carrying a blood-stained bronze sword on his back. His eyes were like cold lightning as he surveyed the disciples of the Immortals' Cavern. Greetings, Second Immortal Elder. The Chaos Immortal Elder and the others walked forward in unison, their voices filled with respect. Yi Lingtian, the second Immortal Elder of the Immortals' Cavern, was extremely powerful. He was at the peak of the Grand Completion Immortal King realm. He had been fighting in the battlefield of the three realms for tens of thousands of years. His aura made people's hearts tremble. He was one of the pillars of the immortal realm in the battlefield of the three realms. His divine might shook the world, like a giant god patrolling the world. Moreover, he had been in the battlefield of the three realms for a long time, no less than hundreds of thousands of years. Yi Lingtian was wearing a blood-stained green robe. He looked at the Empress and the others coldly. When he finally fixed his gaze on Su Yan, he was slightly stunned. Although he was in the battlefield of the three realms, he knew about the major events that had happened in the Immortals' Cavern recently. The Thunder Immortal Elder had been suppressed, and the young Emperor had gone to the battlefield of the three realms to atone for his crimes. All of this was deeply related to Su Yan. Yi Lingtian retracted his gaze and said in a deep voice, "There are still 3 days. Rest here and don't run around." Some disciples frowned. Why didn't they arrange some palaces for them to rest and stay in? This was different from what they had expected. There was no welcoming ceremony. They thought that they would be the center of attention, but they didn't expect to rest here. They felt extremely uncomfortable and felt that they had been treated unfairly. Some of the bolder ones asked the soldiers next to them for a clean place to stay. These soldiers frowned, feeling extremely uncomfortable. This was a battlefield, a place of killing. It wasn't a place for them to enjoy themselves. Ah! The Heavenly Power King slapped the group of people who had teamed up to ask questions. At the same time, he whispered to the soldiers in front of him. Heavenly Power King, the men and women who had been sent flying were pale with anger, but they didn't dare to say anything. No one sympathized with them. The princess and the others were resting here, and they still wanted to sleep in the palaces? You can go over. A group of soldiers patrolled nearby, each emitting a powerful aura, telling them not to run around. Su Yan followed. The Heavenly Power King said in a low voice, "It's getting worse. The situation isn't optimistic. Many of the soldiers aren't in peak condition. If this goes on, the exhaustion will be great." The soldiers in the sky were tired and fell asleep on the spot. Many of them were mentally exhausted and hadn't had a good rest for a long time. Su Yen approached the immortal demon wall. It was too majestic and vast. The sky was filled with soldiers standing on the wall, guarding the border. Every one of them was a brave veteran. Su Yen and the Heavenly Power King rose from the ground and rushed to the top of the wall. Here, the sky was filled with a terrifying killing intent. It was bone-chilling, but Su Yen and the Heavenly Power King were used to it. They weren't affected or disturbed. "Are there new recruits?" An old soldier opened his eyes and noticed them. The Heavenly Power King revealed his identity, and the soldiers in the area were roused. The immortal demon war was about to begin. The Heavenly Power King took the initiative to announce his name, which shocked the soldiers. They had heard of the Heavenly Power King's name for a long time. "Old soldier, how long has it been since you brought in new soldiers?" the Heavenly Power King asked. The group of old soldiers sighed. How many years had it been? Su Yan's expression sank. After tens of millions of years of rest, did the immortal world's emperor clans think that they were ushering in a golden age? It was fine a few years ago, but in these thousands of years the dark world seems to have gone crazy. Their attacks are getting stronger and stronger. An old soldier sighed and said, "If this continues, we won't be able to hold on. However, this isn't something we can worry about. It will be fine." The Heavenly Power King said solemnly, "Great Immortal Elder has already come out of seclusion. I believe that he will quickly solve these problems and have the Emperor clans send reinforcements to the Three Realms battlefield." These old soldiers naturally knew of the Spacetime Emperor's reputation. They were full of anticipation. However, they didn't expect much. When they came, the devilish energy would enter their bodies, and they would live in pain in their later years. In reality, in these tens of millions of years, the Dark World's attacks were slow. The various Emperor clans and important members of Immortal Elder Academy were all in seclusion to recover. The large group of old soldiers standing at the top of the city walls longed to see the Emperor clan's powerful armies take over the border. They were already old, and if they continued fighting, they would fall soon. "Seniors, how long have you all been guarding this place?" Su Yen asked. "We don't dare to be seniors." These old soldiers laughed. They were all rather talkative. Some had guarded here for 1,000 years, some for 10,000 years, some for 100 years. Su Yen sighed inwardly and said, "Are you homesick?" "Ah." The group of old soldiers laughed loudly. One of them directly said, "Even if we die, we have to go back." Su Yen clenched his fist. They didn't want to be buried here after they died. They could sleep a bit more peacefully. Su Yen looked at the old soldiers who were missing arms and legs, feeling sad. He felt even more disdain towards young Emperor. He was clearly a great achievement Immortal King, yet he had to carry out a battlefield mission, and he even deliberately hid his strength. He believed that this type of problem existed in the other Emperor clans as well. Su Yen stood on the city wall, gazing forward. The world ahead was dark and blurry, gray and overcast, unable to see much of the scene. The great earth was covered in dense fog. This was the drifting demonic mist, devouring one's marrow and soul. It was extremely terrifying. Once this darkness matter reached the immortal devil wall, it would instantly scatter. This wall that stretched for millions and millions of li didn't only block the Dark World army, it was also to prevent the darkness matter from reaching the immortal realm camp. Gazing into the distance, one couldn't see much substantial scenes at all. "What is that?" Su Yan's eyes flashed with a hint of cold light. He saw with his heavenly eye that in the eastern region where the darkness matter surged, there were some broken wall traces that were faintly discernible in the darkness. Moreover, there were some traces of Dark World creatures. That area was extremely close to the immortal devil wall. The Dark World could erupt with attacks at any time. Every old soldier's mind was tense, preventing a great disaster from descending. The human realm. One old soldier sighed. Legend has it that the human realm also built the immortal devil wall back then to fight against the dark world together with us, but Su Yan clenched his fists tightly. How was that a camp belonging to the human realm? But it had been destroyed long ago, and the camp had been taken over by the dark world. Bring me the bow. The heavenly power king stretched out his hand, and several old soldiers carried the bow over. The bow was too heavy, made with the sun, moon, and stars as materials. This was the immortal world bow, a great killing weapon used to guard the borders. There was an immortal world bow every mile. The bow required several old soldiers to activate, but the heavenly power king lifted it up with a single arm, causing the old soldiers to laugh heartily. The heavenly power king was indeed the heavenly power king. His strength was limitless. I heard that the princess and the others have come to the immortal devil war this time. It will definitely be exciting. Some of the old soldiers laughed, full of anticipation. The old soldiers nearby also nodded. They had also noticed the large group of young Yingjie in the distance. They were all the seeds of future powerhouses. Yi Lingtian's expression was cold, not giving them any care. They should be allowed to understand what a battlefield was. Here, there was only war, and no one would care for them. Let me. Su Yan stretched out his hand, causing many of the old soldiers to be dazed. This young man looked unfamiliar. Who was he? Su Yan held the immortal world bow, and could feel its power, killing intent, and ferocious aura. It was extremely terrifying, and could easily erupt with terrifying divine force. Young man, be careful. Some old soldiers reminded. The immortal world bow is extremely strong. Although you can hold it, you need to use 120% of your strength to pull it, and you will easily injure yourself. Some of the old soldiers were sad. Many of their good brothers had pulled the immortal world bow with all their might to kill the enemies attacking the wall of gods and devils. In the end, they were exhausted and died. Dying of exhaustion was very cruel, but there was no other way. They had to take responsibility here. After all, the difference between the immortal world's immortal kings and the dark world was huge, and had to be filled with human lives. Yi Lingtian silently appeared here, carrying the bronze sword on his back. He looked at Su Yan, and then at the distant human realm border wasteland, and sighed in his heart. They could not return. Chapter 1983. Very heavy. Su Yan brandished the immortal realm bow. He could naturally operate it freely. Although the bow was extraordinarily heavy, Su Yan's physical attainments were not inferior to emperor-level experts. These old soldiers could all catch Su Yan's physical body. His body surged with extremely terrifying heavenly power, suppressing many old soldiers until their blood and qi surged. They were astonished. This young man's physical body was a little ridiculous. At the same time, they became even more confident in the immortal cave. Yi Linyun was not surprised. Su Yan was a peak expert whose physical body was comparable to the Empress. He was also a newcomer participating in the immortal demon war this time. He naturally had high hopes for Su Yan, hoping that he could win a match. Good arm strength, the old soldiers exclaimed. This young man was also extraordinary. Boom! In an instant, Su Yan's divine power surged. The instant he drew the immortal realm bow, heaven and earth resonated. The terrifying aura made the void tremble. Who is that? Drawing the immortal realm bow by himself is extremely difficult even for emperor-level experts. The veterans in the distant regions were all alarmed as they stared at Su Yan. It should be known that the celestial world bow could only be pulled by one's physical strength. This bow contained an unparalleled killing power, and was a heavy weapon used to guard the borders. The immortal demon war is about to start. He should be a participant. Someone whispered, causing a considerable commotion. A large group of old soldiers exclaimed in admiration. The immortal cave was indeed the immortal cave. Sure enough, they nurtured the top experts of the younger generation. This was a young war god. He drew the immortal realm bow with his bare hands, winning their cheers and admiration. Boom. The immortal realm bow was blazing. It had to be said that this bow was extremely powerful. The instant Su Yan's blood and qi flowed through the immortal realm bow, it changed. It was blazing resplendently. Moreover, a great star of the universe appeared on the bowstring. Good! The old soldiers shouted. Su Yan's strength won their recognition, because this was the immortal realm bow's strongest state. Kill! Su Yan roared. His body merged with the immortal realm bow. The bowstring vibrated, and heaven and earth trembled. An arrow of radiance instantly flew towards the broken human camp. This arrow pierced through 1,000,000 miles, and its explosive power was earth-shattering. Su Yan mustered all his strength to draw the immortal world bow, tearing open a large space-time crack, piercing through the bodies of the creatures of darkness one after another, causing great chaos in that area. Enemy attack, the ruined wasteland immediately changed. Darkness matter surged, and a terrifying aura spread. Awesome, awesome, Su Yan shouted. His flesh and blood body emitted waves of dragon roars. He appeared very fierce as he continuously drew his bow. The group of veterans were all stunned. What kind of divine power was this? Within a short period of time, Su Yan had drawn his bow more than 10 times. The sound of the bowstring was enough to shatter the heavens and split the seas. This was a bit too shocking. He was simply a giant beast. Su Yan drew his bow 18 times, causing chaos in the source area. Unfortunately, a strong person from the Dark World camp was awakened and blocked the Celestial World bow's killing order. The Immortal Realm still wants to counterattack? A cold shout resounded, echoing in the boundless dark world. The world was trembling, and the rumbling was monstrous. Even the stars in the deep sky were trembling violently. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed. That area became abnormally terrifying. A matchless aura rippled, and it quickly swept through the vast rootless world. Waves of darkness surged violently and overflowed into the sky. Buzz! A pair of huge eyes opened. It saw Su Yan, who attacked, and also saw the heavenly power king beside him. Ant! The giant in the darkness said coldly. The human realm has been destroyed, and the immortal realm's doomsday is coming. In this great war between the immortals and demons, my world will slaughter all of your peerless prodigies and cleanse the immortal realm first. Shameless boasting! Yi Linyun shouted coldly. He rose from the ground, and the divine light of the sword embryo on his back shone for millions of miles, flowing with a peerless sharpness. The figure in the darkness also gradually blazed. A terrifying giant beast spat out heavenly radiance. Its black tail was as huge as a true dragon, and it could easily shake the sky. It shouted coldly, "I don't think we need to wait 3 days. Let's start now. The great war between the immortals and demons is about to start." The immortal devil wall, countless murderous weapons awakened, and everyone was brimming with energy. It had already started. Time was really fast. They had almost forgotten the time. For these veterans who had been on the battlefield for a long time, it was their first time watching the great war between the immortals and demons. They were very excited. Boom! Inside the immortal devil wall, a gray world swept out billowing black fog. Forming a black tide, the world trembled, and time and space collapsed. It was very terrifying, but this was just the beginning. An indescribable destructive aura flowed, and in a short time, it suppressed the boundless sky and was about to suppress the immortal realm. Buzz! The immortal devil wall spanned millions of miles, and it was forged from countless corpses. Countless resplendent runes flashed on the ancient wall, isolating the waves from the dark world. Kill, kill, kill! The immortal realm soldiers roared, and their auras merged with the immortal devil wall. They seemed very ferocious, and under the support of the immortal devil wall, all of them seemed to have stepped into the sovereign Tao domain, and their roars shook the world. Baokai trembled. It was too spectacular. The energy torrent released by the Dark World's camp became turbulent and endless. It was as if billions of dark tsunamis were rolling over, covering the sky and the earth as they surged toward the immortal devil wall. Darkness covered the sun, and it was like the end of the world. Boom! In the next moment, a boundlessly terrifying aura spread out. As the black tsunami swept out, one figure after another appeared. It was as if the invincible experts of the dark world were moving out, and they emitted a matchless storm. Even with the protection of the immortal devil wall, even though they were far away from the source, countless cultivators trembled, and a large number of Ingjie in the immortal cave trembled. They couldn't help but kneel on the ground in worship. Without a doubt, they were definitely important figures from the Dark World's camp. It was very likely that a group of great accomplishment immortal kings had come to lead the army. How terrifying, some disciples said with trembling voices. How could they fight against them? At least a dozen immortal kings' auras pressed down, causing the immortal devil wall to tremble faintly. Look, it's the experts of our world. A genius roared. He saw immortal kings walking out one after another. They stepped on the universe, forming the sound of the great Tao that shook the heavens and the earth. 10 immortal kings. Some were wearing beast skin clothes, some were wearing golden armor, some were bare-chested, and some were waving spiked maces. Every one of them was powerful enough. The barbarian god was very excited as he said to Su Yen. The old war god in beast skin clothes was the immortal king of the barbarian race. He had been fighting for 13,000 years. Su Yen also saw Shao Di. He was handsome and valiant, but he didn't seem to fit in with the 9 blood-bathed war gods. Shao Di's aura was divine and holy, so it was natural that he was also powerful. At the same time, the Chaos Immortal Elders and the others also joined forces to press forward. At this moment they had to hold on. Boom! In the darkness, the stars fell, and the heavens seemed to be disintegrating. The scene was shocking, as if the world was about to be destroyed. One figure after another appeared in the darkness. Some had 3 heads and 6 arms, some had dark wings on their backs, and some had a human face and a snake body. Each of the big figures of the dark world was extraordinary, especially one with a huge body. His eyes were like a giant star in the universe. He emitted an incomparable power as if he was splitting the sky. An extremely terrifying dark beast shot out black lightning one after another from his eyes. His huge eyes also reflected the figures of Yi Linyun and the others. He said coldly, "The mortal world has been destroyed. When will the immortal world return to the embrace of the dark world and complete the unification of the 3 worlds? Dark Heavenly King, my world is right here. If you have the guts, come and fight." The sword light in Yi Linyun's eyes was like the sea. The scene in his eyes was quite sharp. His eyes seemed to have turned into an ultimate immortal sword and slashed out, wanting to turn into a sword embryo that was billions of miles long and cut through the darkness. Ha ha ha, when our world wins the war of immortals and demons, it will be the day of the immortal world's destruction. As the dark beast laughed, his eyes showed the absurd scene of the immortal world's destruction. It was as if he was reshaping the immortal world, containing supreme magic power. Too arrogant. Princess and the others are all here. Our world will win this battle. There is no suspense. Ingjie in the immortal cave growled. The battle had not yet begun, but the dark world had already determined that they would lose. Ignorant. Dark Heavenly King looked at Heavenly Dragon Maiden and the others. He said coldly, "In the past wars of immortals and demons, you only relied on some old people. You are very pitiful. In this battle, our world has a newcomer." Tiandao King suddenly roared, "Su Yen from the mortal world will destroy all of you." The whole world was in an uproar. Many veterans on the city wall were surprised. Did the mortal world have a new successor? Tiandao King looked at Su Yen and sneered secretly. He attracted the attention of many veterans. At first, the soldiers of the immortal world were surprised. The one who pulled the bow of the immortal world actually came from the mortal world. Ha 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 ha. Dark Heavenly King looked up to the sky and laughed, full of endless sarcasm. What is left of a destroyed mortal world? Destroy all of you? You are really ignorant and pitiful. Su Yen clenched his fists. Any counterattack would be pale and powerless. Only by standing on the battlefield of immortals and demons and winning in all aspects, he could tell the world that he was indomitable. Black Sky Beast, you really talk a lot of nonsense. The great success immortal king of the Man Huang tribe spoke. His voice was loud and clear, shaking heaven and earth. He shouted, so long-winded, is there no end to it? As soon as his voice fell, half of the arena rushed to the top of the sky dome, scattering endless flames of war. I will make you all convinced. Black Sky Beast waved his hand and threw out the other half of the arena, rushing to the top of the sky dome. The two halves of the arena were complete when combined into one. This arena was forged with the order of the universe as the cornerstone to ensure fairness and justice. No one could destroy the battle. Yi Linyun walked down and looked at the top 10 contestants. Princess, Immortal Lord, Heavenly Eye Vision King, Heavenly Venerable King, Heavenly Force King, Heavenly Dragon Maiden, Heavenly Tao King, Starry Sky Race Heavenly King, Barbarian God, and Su Yen. Requesting the first contestant to participate. The Heavenly Power King clenched his fists. This battle of the Dark World was fierce. It was most likely a terrifying storm, and an earth-shattering expert might walk out. I'll go first, Su Yen said in a low voice. Let's follow the old rules. Yi Linyun shook his head slightly. These 10 were all famous young experts. Baokai was surprised. What old rules? An expert took out a wooden box and walked over. Drawing lots? Many disciples of the Immortal Cave were stunned. It was actually drawing lots. No one knew who would fight the first battle of the Dark World, so they could only draw lots. As for the subsequent battles, they would naturally decide who would participate according to the strength of the young overlords of the Dark World. The side that won each battle had to choose an expert in advance to step into the arena, or the previous contestant would win and continue to the second battle. The Crown Princess and the others finished drawing lots and opened the special wooden tablet. Su Yen was disappointed. None was written on it. The Heavenly Power King also pursed his lips. He had participated in many battles of immortals and demons, but he had never been the first to participate. The Heavenly Tao King was stunned. It was him. Soon, he took a deep breath. According to the probability, the Dark World's first battle would not have a peak existence. As long as he could win, his mission would be completed. Chapter 1984. The Immortal Devil Wall spanned billions of miles. This was the border, the strongest battlefield in the immortal world. Once the Three Realms battlefield was broken, the Dark World could directly send troops to the immortal world, tear apart the 10 battlefields, and attack the Emperor City. The Immortal Devil Wall, the first line of defense, could also be called the immortal world's final line of defense. Outside this huge and terrifying wall was a vast and rootless world. It was unimaginably deep, and it was also the Three Realms mountain from a long time ago. Since the Three Realms were in chaos, this boundless world had turned into the most terrifying battlefield in the world. Emperors fell, immortal kings were killed, and countless soldiers were killed. The aura of death and great ferocity suddenly exploded into a terrifying energy rain. The two sections of the arena shone at the same time. It was like a condensed projection of the immortal world and the Dark World's universe, carrying the supreme universe order of the immortal world and the Dark World, the universe's origin. As if two universes were colliding, the grand arena also instantly merged into one. It was as if the heavens were being reopened, turning into a universe battlefield. Dong, 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 the grand arena rumbled fiercely. It was too big, and the stars in the sky were small. Suddenly, an indescribable aura surged, causing all the immortal soldiers to be overwhelmed with emotions. They roared towards the sky. It was as if billions of lightning streaked across the immortal world, unifying the world. All the major races in the immortal world roared, and a series of leaders of major sects walked out at the same time. They were solemn, and time after time, they continuously shook the golden bell in the ancestral court. Millions and millions of ancient realms resonated, causing an uproar to overflow everywhere. Just how shocking of an effect was this? Just how world-shocking was this? It affected the entire immortal realm. The immortal devil war has begun. A roar resounded from the billions of races. Our world will win. Win. Heaven and earth changed, and the scene was monstrous. The entire immortal world seemed to be burning, and the torrents of laws appeared. Ancient worlds merged into one, forming a purple sea of laws that crossed billions of ancient worlds. The sea of laws of the immortal world was burning, and one could imagine how shocking it was. This kind of battle can actually affect the entire immortal world. Some of the newly promoted big shots felt their hair stand on end. How can the great fortune be said for nothing? An old immortal king said softly, "Once the celestial world wins, the sea of laws will surge. In the following period of time, the celestial world will enter the strongest environment, more suitable for cultivation and Tao comprehension. This will be the era where experts are born, and also the era where geniuses are nurtured." What if he loses? Someone couldn't help but ask. A few old immortal kings sighed. Once they lost, it was the same as immortal realms will losing. The entire immortal realm would enter the most difficult era. Heaven and earth essence energy would decline, the great Tao chaotic. This was an extremely bad era, it would affect endless years. It's here, look, the Emperor's city was in an uproar. At the peak of the Emperor's city, the shadow of a gigantic battle arena appeared, illuminating the peak of the Emperor's city, causing a world-shaking commotion. In the immortal world, the only way to witness the great war of immortals and demons was to go to the imperial city. In a certain mansion, the scenery of the courtyard was beautiful, and the fragrance of flowers filled the air. Even the large mansion seemed slightly cold and cheerless. "It's starting so soon." Bamboo Moon gently stood up. Her body was somewhat weak. She stared at the arena as she silently prayed for Su Yen in her heart. Tiandao monarch. The city was in an uproar. Who didn't know the number one person in the immortal Tao realm? He was once glorious, the winner of the great war of immortals and demons, a peak expert revered by the world. At this moment, he was standing in the grand arena world. Tiandao monarch was heroic. He wore a purple robe and a purple gold crown. He had a very elegant and graceful bearing. The huge immortal demon wall was silent. All the soldiers were nervously watching the Tiandao monarch as he leaped toward the black beast shadow on the arena. "It's him." Su Yen was surprised. Baokai also recognized it. It was a huge dark beast king from the Dark World's supreme race. The Heavenly Power King was surprised. Su Yen had seen it before? Baokai replied. They had fought before. This beast king was very powerful. Back then, they had only faced its Tao body, not its main body. The Chaos Immortal Elder's expressions eased slightly. The Celestial World's camp had an advantageous position in this battle. The dark beasts mainly cultivated the physical body. On the other hand, the Tiandao monarch had a Khanate Tao body and should be able to suppress this dark beast king. "I've never seen you before." The Tiandao monarch also became more relaxed. The Dark Beast King race once had a supreme overlord, but it wasn't this one. The Dark Beast King glanced at the Tiandao monarch coldly and ignored him. Its pitch-black eyes scanned the crown princess and the others. Finally, it fixed its gaze on Su Yen. "We meet again." The Dark Beast King's tone was cold. It stood on the arena and said to Su Yen, "I thought the first one would be you. I'm a little disappointed." "How dare you?" The Tiandao monarch was furious. He was standing on the arena and was the Dark Beast King's opponent. But this Beast King's gaze landed on Su Yen. What was the meaning of this? The Dark Beast King looked at the Tiandao monarch and said coldly, My goal is to win 3 out of 3 battles, but I don't want to waste it on a trash. I've seen your battle on the arena. You can't be considered the strongest in the celestial world. I can give the celestial world a chance to change you." The heroes of the celestial world were furious. This was too arrogant. The Dark Beast King was the first to be transferred, and it wanted to win 3 out of 3 battles? Ridiculous. Even the strongest Beast King of your race hasn't won 3 out of 3 battles. You dare to talk nonsense? The Tiandao monarch was furious. And it said that he wasn't the strongest? Could it be that Su Yan was the strongest? What was the meaning of this Beast King's words? This made the Tiandao monarch let out a loud roar and suddenly charged over. That's right. I'll win 3 out of 3 battles. In an instant, the Dark Beast King roared into the sky. Blood rained down and the wind changed color. Its spirit, chi, and spirit completely changed. It was like a king rushing out of the evil earth, like the reincarnation of a peerless Beast King. It emitted a terrifying pressure that covered the vast arena. The Tiandao monarch charged over. His aura was sacred and solemn. He was completely different from the ferocious Beast King's aura. He was like an otherworldly immortal. Dazzling symbols of the great Tao rose from his body, burning fiercely and rippling with the aura of the great Tao. An intense collision broke out just like that. On the battlefield of immortals and demons, Daesung's peak combat power was roaring. He was already ranked among the top talent. As soon as they exchanged blows, strange phenomena filled the sky. The Tiandao monarch went berserk and used his trump card. His connate constitution seemed to be burning as he condensed the connate constitution of the great Tao. He threw out one palm after another, a total of 81 palm strikes. Suppress! The Tiandao monarch roared. This was the palm of the immortal path. Once the 81 palm strikes merged, it formed a huge purple palm that covered the Dark Beast King in an instant. It was as if it was going to kill the Dark Beast King with one slap. The Tiandao monarch will win. A large number of Ingjia shouted. They were very confident in the Tiandao monarch's combat power. They burned their connate constitution and used a shocking technique. Just as the purple palm was about to cover the Dark Beast King's body, the Beast King changed. It galloped terrifyingly, and the black fur on its body danced. It rapidly expanded, forming a black waterfall. The Tianli monarch's face suddenly sank. The palm of the immortal path that the Tiandao monarch used was directly torn apart. This Dark Beast King's combat power was a little strange. The attack just now was not an ordinary attack. It combined the power of the connate constitution of the great Tao, but it was mercilessly torn apart. Boom! On the battlefield of the immortals and demons, the sky was filled with black storms formed by strands of black fur. They were surrounded by billowing smog, and the world trembled under the pressure. They covered the sky and covered the earth as they charged toward the Tiandao monarch. The pinnacle battle had directly entered a white-hot level. The Tiandao monarch's body of flesh and blood was dazzling and blazing. The connate great Tao sword embryos on his back were condensed from his great Tao. They filled the sky with slashes, causing the void to collapse and the black storms to continuously disintegrate. Kill! The Tiandao monarch became more and more courageous as he fought. His constitution was burning, and he was already putting his life on the line. One could imagine how strong the enemy was. Connate sword Dao Yi Linyun was naturally an expert of the sword. He could see that the Tiandao monarch was extraordinary. The mysteries of the connate sword Dao filled the sky. The more sword light was released, the more dangerous the battlefield of the war demon became. 1,000,000 connate sword embryos were almost formed, resonating and slashing down on the enemy. Not good. The heavenly dragon maiden saw a flash of golden light. It was shaped like a golden claw. It was extremely heavy, as if it was trampling on one's heart. In an instant, the Tiandao monarch's body trembled violently. His heart felt as if it was about to explode, causing him to lose his composure. Not good, it's a king beast. The Man Wang tribe's great success Immortal King's face was gloomy as he shouted, "Come back, retreat." The king beast of darkness had an extraordinary physical body, but it was also proficient in the changes of time and space. This tribe was equivalent to a supreme hunter. Once a king beast of atavism walked out, it would definitely be the land of the immortal cave. This tribe once had a king city of atavism. They won 3 battles in the Great War of the Immortals and Demons, severely damaging the immortal cave. Go, the Tiandao monarch also saw that something was wrong and quickly retreated. But he couldn't escape. The Sea of Swords exploded. A loud roar exploded, and the dark tides surged into the sky. The shadow of a beast with surging vitality was faintly discernible in time and space. Its 4 limbs and claws were dazzling gold, and its steps were heavy. Every step it took forward made the sky tremble. One could see with the naked eye that time and space carried a huge claw, pressing down on the Tiandao monarch's body. This was also an invisible killing intent. The deterrence was too shocking, causing the Tiandao monarch to bleed from his mouth and nose. The terrifying pressure covered his body, causing his flesh and blood to be on the verge of collapsing. Ah! The Tiandao monarch screamed miserably. He couldn't escape. He was completely suppressed. Su Yan's expression was solemn. The great immortal elder controlled time and space. If a disciple could walk out, he would definitely be an unparalleled genius. Hee, I already said that you're trash in my eyes, but you didn't believe me. It's too late to escape now. The king beast of darkness walked over, and its huge claw smashed the Tiandao monarch into the ground. Fresh blood dripped down. It was a shocking sight. Countless soldiers roared as if they were trampling on the celestial world's strictest rules. The celestial world's first battle ended in failure. It was a miserable defeat. It directly stepped on the Tiandao monarch's broken body and looked coldly at Su Yan. It shouted, "Come up and fight with me, and I can spare his life." Baokai suddenly had an idea. It wanted to say that Su Yan wasn't willing. However, it obviously couldn't say that. One had to know that once the great immortal demon war started, no one could stop it. Unless the opponent spared them, or unless both sides were injured. "Brother Su, save me." The Tiandao monarch looked as if he had seen a life-saving straw. He couldn't care less about his dignity and directly cried for help. "Save my brother Su." Chapter 1985. Yi Linyun's face trembled. "Save me, brother Su?" Begging for mercy and being defeated were 2 completely different things. The Tiandao king was begging for mercy. Did he have any sense of shame? This son of a bitch, he didn't forget to drag Su Yan down with him even before he dies. Baokai was also dumbfounded. He didn't expect the Tiandao king, who had been targeting Su Yan, to be so shameless as to shout such words. However, he was already scared out of his wits. How could he be willing to die in the immortal demon battlefield? He still had a bright future ahead of him. Su Yan walked up in an instant. His expression was cold as he stared at the immortal demon battlefield with his deep eyes. He had to respond and express his stance. This was the immortal demon battlefield, a place where heroes were buried and experts shed their blood. A large number of bloody veterans from the immortal world were guarding the border. There were also heroic spirits from the destruction of the human world looking at him. No matter what, Su Yan couldn't retreat. He couldn't let any personal grudges affect the overall situation. Although he was representing the immortal world, Su Yan's roots were still in the human world. However, just as Su Yan was about to enter the immortal demon battlefield, the Dark Beast King roared. Its divine power was so vast that it was suffocating and uncomfortable. "What are you doing?" the Tiandao king wailed. His heart was filled with fear. Didn't he say that he could live if Su Yan entered the battlefield? Why did he go back on his word? "Trash, the immortal demon battlefield has been polluted by you," the Dark Beast King roared. Golden ripples rolled out of its mouth and nose. In an instant it was as if a vast ocean was pressing down. "You're going to roar me to death." The Tiandao King's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. His seemingly weak body suddenly burned fiercely. His body turned into a purple divine fetus. It was transparent and densely covered with mysterious symbols of the Great Path, revealing the great mystery of the beginning of the world. Boom! In an instant, the golden ripples all over the sky collapsed. Under the explosive state of the born Taoism aptitude, the purple divine fetus burned itself, emitting terrifying waves of the Great Path. Mysterious symbols of the Great Path rushed out of his body and turned into tiny figures of the Great Path. Some of the lifelike figures of the Great Tao were chanting sutras, some were sleeping, some were forming hand seals, some were grasping the Great Tao. The scene was a bit terrifying. The little figures of the Great Tao in the sky all resonated, releasing a grand immortal Tao divine might. It was as if the immortals of the heavens had descended into this world, slaughtering their way towards the darkness king beast. Baokai was dumbfounded. What was this? Su Yen was dumbfounded. It had to be said that the heavenly Tao King's trump card was very abnormal. It was as if he had sacrificed the great Tao of the heavens. Billions of purple torrents poured down and drowned the darkness king beast. Yi Linyun's face darkened. He clearly had a trump card, but he was unwilling to use it. Someone noticed that the heavenly Tao King, who had done all of this, was in an extremely weak state. His purple body was riddled with holes, and he couldn't even crawl up. This was too much of a loss for him, and it was almost impossible for him to heal. "Innate Tao Seal, help me kill the enemy!" Tiandao King roared, hoping that he could break out of this situation. But there was no hope. No matter how terrifying the heavenly Tao was, the Golden Beast King released a devouring power that caused the entire purple world to twist and tremble. "You worm, how dare you hurt me!" The Black Beast King roared. Its body was stained with blood. It was also injured, slapped by the heavenly Tao King. It was furious, and its golden claws tore apart the heavenly Tao's suppression. It roared and charged. No! Tiandao King was in despair. Even such a powerful attack couldn't kill the Darkness King beast. It was so weak that it couldn't even crawl up. Moreover, its body was blasted apart by the blood-soaked Beast King's roar. Blood floated between heaven and earth, surging and sprinkling down. Tiandao King, Ingjie of the heavenly cave shouted, and their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Some of the heavenly elders roared, and their eyes were bloodshot. This was a top talent of the heavenly cave, a generation of innate Tao body. But its body was crushed by a roar, and it died tragically on the stage. This was a great humiliation. The experts of the Xian people's camp were shaken. The first battle was lost. At the same time, a storm raged in the imperial city. An extremely oppressive aura filled the entire city. The old antiques of the various clans were silent. The first battle was a crushing defeat. This was an ominous sign. This time, the princess and the others had all participated in the battle. If the immortal world was really defeated, it would be a heavy blow to the entire immortal world. It would seriously affect the morale of the immortal world's army. B****, the old sect master of the immortal Taoist sect was furious. His body and mind were about to split apart. He emitted the light of the great Tao of destruction. The immortal Taoist sect was one of the 10 supreme sects of the immortal world. The sect's foundation was shocking. The old sect master was naturally a great success immortal king. He let out a mournful roar, and the young war god that the sect was proud of died. The younger generation felt cold all over. This was the great war of the immortals and devils. Even the top talents of the same generation would fall. Ha ha! Ha! The dark king beast was bathed in blood. Its black fur fluttered in the wind. It looked very fierce. It swallowed a secret medicine to quickly heal its injuries. At the same time, it said disdainfully, "Trash, trash, coward. Ha ha, this is the immortal world. Laughable, too laughable. The black heavenly king stood in the endless darkness and laughed loudly. Take a look. This is the war god of the younger generation of the immortal world. He's just trash, not worth mentioning at all. In the endless darkness, numerous figures appeared. They were so densely packed that it was impossible to count them. It was as if the army of the dead was passing through space and time. They were filled with the source of destruction. The dark world will win. Cheers resounded. The ferocious aura of the dark world extended like the sea, causing the huge immortal devil wall to tremble as if it was about to collapse. This was the general trend, the trend of the race. The dark world stood at the peak, looking down on the immortal world. The soldiers of the immortal world had cold expressions. How could they refute? The first battle ended in a crushing defeat. Any rebuttal would be powerless. It would only make the beings of the dark world look down on the immortal world. They had to fight a victorious battle to regain their lost prestige. Su Yen, come. The dark beast king let out a heaven-shaking roar. I'm going to kill you. Loser, last time I took your head. This time I'm going to crush your body. Su Yan's eyes widened. Killing intent surged from his body, filling the world in an instant. He emitted a boundless, domineering aura, wanting to charge into the immortal devil battlefield. The soldiers of the immortal world roared along with Su Yen. It turned out that Su Yen had destroyed it in the past. Even now, Su Yen was extremely powerful. His majestic body was indomitable. He didn't cower because of the heavenly king's tragic death. Instead, his spirit was overflowing. The cheers for Su Yen to participate in the second battle were very loud. However, Yi Linyun waved his hand, and the entire world instantly fell silent. He carried the sword embryo on his back, and his expression was cold. He had enough prestige in the Three Realms battlefield. He then said to the Heavenly Dragon Maiden, "Heavenly Dragon Maiden, go up the stage and fight. Senior, I want to join the battle." Su Yan's clothes fluttered in the wind. He was eager to fight. The Dark Beast King was originally targeting him. Su Yan, the Heavenly Dragon Maiden, once suppressed a Dark Beast King. She has a 70% chance of winning. Yi Linyun waved his hand to stop Su Yan's words. He didn't say anything. The Grand Immortal Elder had already sent a message back, asking Su Yan to be the final battle before the Empress. What kind of concept was this? Su Yan was the strongest dark horse in this war. Therefore, unless it was a critical moment, Su Yan couldn't make a move. The Empress was an invincible legend created by the immortal world. Therefore, unless it was a critical moment, the Empress couldn't make a move. If the Empress was defeated, the impact would be shocking. It would definitely affect the morale of the immortal world's younger generation. This was what the Grand Immortal Elder told him. Yi Linyun didn't tell Su Yan, fearing that he would become arrogant. In this battle, the Dark World came aggressively. They definitely had a huge trump card. At the same time, the Chaos Immortal Elder and the others knew that the Dark World's trump card probably didn't come from the Dark World's peerless races. After all, what they had to guard against this time was the Dark World's ultimate trump card. Black Heavenly King's face was gloomy. He had seen this person in the Immortal Demon War when he was young. His race had an atavistic beast king suppressed by the Heavenly Dragon Maiden. Although it didn't die, his race viewed it as a great humiliation. Black Heavenly King laughed. Destroying a small fry from the human world wasn't much. The main thing was killing the Empress and the others. It was enough to make the immortal world's prestige fall. Don't worry, Su Yan. I will help you destroy him. The Heavenly Dragon Maiden's silver hair reached her waist. She looked like a sweet little girl. But at this moment, her body was filled with dragon's might. Her steps were heavy, like a peerless dragon soaring through the sky. Along the way, many soldiers were horrified. What a terrifying woman! Every step she took made their hearts go out of control, as if they were about to disintegrate. Bao Kai was worried. He didn't have a good impression of the Heavenly Tao King, but the heavenly dragon maiden was their friend. However, the heavenly Tao King whispered, "You haven't seen the heavenly dragon maiden's strongest state. Once she shows her dragon body, it will be amazing." Su Yan took a deep breath. The heavenly dragon maiden was a true dragon of the immortal world, a supreme being. He believed that she could stabilize the situation. A woman came? The Dark Beast King sneered. This king doesn't know how to be gentle. The true dragons of the immortal world and the peerless beasts of the dark world could be said to be mortal enemies. On the contrary, the Dark Beast King seemed to be very relaxed. Boom! The moment the heavenly dragon maiden's body stepped onto the stage, her might became stronger. Step by step, a vast dragon's might rippled out. The Dark Beast King's body trembled violently as it retreated. Heavenly Dragon 9 steps. Yi Linyun solemnly watched the battle. This was the supreme inheritance of the true dragon bloodline. The fact that the heavenly dragon maiden could take 9 steps in such a short time showed how shocking her foundation was. Roar! 9 steps, the dragon's might shook the world. 9 true dragons pressed forward. Their bodies were huge and majestic, filled with the ancient dragon's might. The Dark Beast King was forced to retreat continuously. It almost couldn't stand still and was sent flying. Good! The group shouted. This was the invincible Ingjie, the overlord of the immortal world, the heavenly dragon maiden. The Dark Beast King roared. Its 4 golden claws shone brightly and pressed on the ground. Flashes of golden light filled the sky as it attacked forward, blocking the suppression of the 9 dragons. 9 dragons stomping the sky, 9 dragons swinging tail, 9 dragons stretching claws. The heavenly dragon maiden rushed forward like lightning. The 9 true dragons on the battlefield suddenly revived and formed a 9 dragons great Tao diagram. One after another, they rushed towards the Dark Beast King. This was a supreme killing saint technique. The atmosphere of the immortal demon battlefield was wild to the extreme. Giant dragon claws, a frightening tail, and a world-shaking dragon body. These were the 9 great divine abilities of the true dragon bloodline. Their killing power could shake the heavens and earth and make ghosts and gods weep. The terrifying dragon's might made it hard for people to breathe. Everyone was shocked. Under the 9 dragons' killing technique, the Dark Beast King roared towards the sky. Its black fur fluttered in the wind. Its body spewed out a majestic power of time and space, blocking the 9 dragons' killing technique. Boom! The heavenly dragon maiden pressed forward. Her fist soared and 9 dragons coiled around it. The fist light was incomparably powerful. Kill! The heavenly dragon maiden roared. Her silver hair fluttered in the wind. Her essence, chi, and spirit transformed into true dragons that roared and waved her dragon fist. Boom! The Dark Beast King waved its huge claws to resist. However, the dragon fist was unparalleled. The Dark Beast King's chi and blood churned. Its huge body was almost sent flying. The atmosphere on the immortal devil battlefield was violent. The heavenly dragon maiden was extremely powerful. Her fists were like torrents. The dragon's might filled the sky. What a fast speed! The older generation was shocked. The heavenly dragon lady launched over 100 punches at lightning speed. Her speed was frightening. The entire area collapsed into a huge black hole. One after another, the dragon fist imprints pressed down on the Dark King Beast's flesh shell. The Dark Beast King roared. Its body was about to shatter. Mu Xian's face flushed red as she cheered for the heavenly dragon maiden. Some people felt that this battle was about to be won. The heavenly dragon maiden had unleashed her peak strength. She wanted to fight speed with speed to restore the dignity of the immortal world. Roar! Suddenly, the Dark Beast King's body that was about to shatter suddenly roared. Its bleeding body burned fiercely. Its aura turned berserk. Its roar shook the entire star field. Visible to the naked eye, hundreds of fist imprints were instantly shattered. In the end, the Darkness King Beast seemed to have reconstructed its true self, reborn through flames. Its entire body's fur changed color, becoming a golden color, burning with raging flames that burned down heaven and earth. The great stars in the sky were about to be extinguished. One could see just how terrifying it was. More than half of it has returned to its ancestral state. Yi Linyun's eyes widened. This dark beast king was a little ridiculous. Its golden fur danced wildly. Its body was filled with the power of heaven devouring. It was about to swallow the entire battlefield into its stomach. Kill! The dark monarch beast roared, shattering the heaven and earth. It opened its bloody maw, wanting to swallow the heavenly dragon maiden whole. The heavenly dragon maiden's aura also turned berserk. Her snow-white body was covered with silver dragon scales. Clang! 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 The golden beast king's aura turned berserk. Its golden fur danced in the wind as it clawed the sky. It emitted a terrifying pressure. It fiercely counterattacked. The heavenly dragon maiden was forced to retreat. Her fists were bleeding. You can't do it! The dark beast king roared and pounced forward. It turned into an invincible beast. Every claw contained the power of a great divine ability. It suppressed the heavenly dragon maiden from all directions. Roar! Suddenly, the moon fell from the blue sky. The dragon's roar was loud enough to burst the eardrums of all the saints. Dragon soaring in the sky. A silver dragon raised its head and roared. The dragon's body was 10 feet tall. It was terrifying and intimidating. It let out a true dragon's roar. Boom! The sky was filled with divine light. Sand and stones were blown away. The two terrifying creatures' blood surged. They fought fiercely. In a short period of time, the whole area was filled with holes and countless cracks. Dong! The heavenly dragon maiden swung her dragon fists. The claws of the dark beast king were shattered. However, the dark beast king's golden fur danced in the wind. It was like a great killing weapon. The dragon scales on the heavenly dragon maiden's body were cracked. It was a terrifying bloody battle. Both sides were stained with blood. They were both injured. You actually injured me. It's time to end this. The dark beast king roared. The black blood flowing all over its body suddenly turned golden. Its aura was actually a lot stronger than before. It was so terrifying that the sky trembled. It was like an unparalleled demon king awakening from a deep slumber. Complete ancestral awakening. Yi Linyun's eyes were wide open in anger and trembling. What kind of concept was this? Once it matured in the future, it would be a great disaster. It was equivalent to the strongest bloodline of the supreme royal family. This dark beast king's body was golden. It was like an endless golden sun burning. It burned the void into a huge black hole. It was so terrifying that it wanted to devour all life in the universe. It waved its huge claws in an instant and shattered the heavenly dragon maiden's protective divine light. Pfft! The heavenly dragon maiden spat out a mouthful of blood. This unimaginable power hit her dragon body, causing it to shatter into pieces and fall to the ground. No. Su Yan's eyes were red. His black hair flew backward. He couldn't wait to enter the immortal devil battlefield. Chapter 1986. Heavenly Dragon Lady. The Emperor's city was in an uproar. This was the invincible Ingjie, who had supreme divine might in the immortal world. The immortal kings of the older generation couldn't take it anymore, and their eyes turned red. How could this be? A complete atavism king-beast, equivalent to the first generation of the Emperor clan. If Heavenly Dragon Lady died, it would be a heavy blow to the immortal world. Bamboo Moon's eyes turned red. This was too cruel. Even the invincible genius of the immortal world had to face the danger of death. In the immortal demon Great War, there was no mercy, only killing and advancing bravely. Either you die or you win. Crackle! On the immortal demon battlefield, a silver dragon's body cracked, almost breaking into 100 pieces. Thick dragon blood spilled, dyeing the ground red. Bastard! Su Yan's eyes burned with flames, and his body was full of terrifying killing intent. His chest was heaving up and down violently. Complete atavism, the Heavenly Force King was very clear about the difficulties Heavenly Dragon Maiden was facing. He pounded his chest and forced himself to calm down. His friendship with Heavenly Dragon Maiden was too deep, and he did not dare to imagine the consequences of defeat. Jie, the Golden King Beast sneered and approached Heavenly Dragon Lady step by step. With each step, heaven and earth trembled. A monstrous ferocious aura swept towards Heavenly Dragon Lady, wanting to tear her into pieces. The Empress and the others were furious. They were friends with Heavenly Dragon Lady. If she died, the Immortal Cave's loss would be too great. However, no one could stop this from happening on the Immortal Demon battlefield. The Immortal World soldiers roared. Could it be that the talented Heavenly Dragon Lady was going to die? Ha ha, what Heavenly Dragon? She's just an ant. Black Heavenly King sneered. I've said it before. This time, my world will slaughter all of you. If it wasn't for the rules of the battlefield, only 3 battles could be held. Otherwise, just my Dark King Beast alone would be enough to slaughter the top 10 experts and the Immortal Cave. Immortal Monarch and the others were furious. These words were too arrogant, and they couldn't help but be shocked. If Heavenly Dragon Lady was defeated, then even if they went up the stage, it would be useless. Even if Immortal Monarchs were stronger than Heavenly Dragon Maiden, how much stronger? At this time, their eyes were all gathered on Emperor Lady's body. This was someone who reigned supreme from past to present, moreover grasping the heaven-opening Emperor scripture, as well as a heaven race bloodline expert. She had the strength to fight against the Darkness King Beast. But this was just the beginning. Could it be that the immortal world was going to use their trump card? Once Her Highness ascended the stage, the celestial world would lose half of the battle. Look! An expert roared loudly, staring at the blood-soaked dragon body. She was burning, releasing the dragon body's potential. Moreover, silver dragon blood flowed in all directions, wrapping around her ruined body. Suddenly, from death and decay, she began to revive like lightning. Roar! A roar erupted, shaking heaven and earth. The silver ruined dragon merged into one, erupting with heaven overflowing radiance, tearing apart the entire space. Ants, kill them! The Golden Beast King Beast wouldn't give Heavenly Dragon Lady a chance. Its expression was extremely cold. Divine light shone from its body, and its golden mouth suddenly opened, as if it was a blazing golden universe. The darkness beasts trespassed the changes of space and time, and their race's innate ability could swallow heaven and earth. Especially this Beast King Beast that had completely reverted to its ancestral form. When it opened its mouth, the sky exploded, and the stars in the sky were swallowed by it in one breath. The crowd was shocked. Who could compete with such a shocking combat strength? Heavenly Dragon Lady trembled, and her dragon body was somewhat uncontrollable, falling into the Golden Beast King Beast's mouth. Ah, Heavenly Dragon Lady's eyes were red. Her silver dragon body burned, resisting the terrifying devouring power of heaven and earth. At the same time, her dragon body seemed to have assimilated, and turned into 10 true dragons at lightning speed. 10 dragons coiling the sky. Su Yan's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. Then, could the expert who created the celestial dragon world be Heavenly Dragon Lady's master, the elder brother of the Phoenix King's bloodline? Heavenly Dragon Lady roared, and the 10 dragons carried her power. The moment her extreme state burned, the 10 dragons soared into the sky, creating a field of 10 dragons that instantly imprisoned the devouring power. At the same time, the 10 dragons danced, and a great divine ability was released. The scene became more and more terrifying, and it evolved into a complete Archean dragon world. The most powerful killing order of this bloodline covered the sky and earth as it attacked the Golden Beast King Beast. It's useless. You can't stop me, unless the ancestral beast of the dragon race comes. The Beast King Beast that had completely reverted to its ancestral form had unfathomable divine might. Its body was the ultimate domain, and its 4 claws suddenly danced, tearing the sky and the sea apart. Kill! The golden beast king roared, and its body shone with divine light, emitting a vast wave of energy that was enough to destroy heaven and earth. Every time it waved its claws, it contained boundless power, and the dragons in the sky were trembling, as if they were about to collapse. Roar! Heavenly Dragon Lady roared, and the 10 dragons burned. Her dragon essence awakened, and the 10 blurry dragons turned into real dragons. They suddenly rushed down, and each of them was very shocking. One after another, they resisted the golden beast king beast's power and locked its huge body. No! Heavenly Force King lost control and roared. This was Heavenly Dragon Lady's strongest trump card, 10 dragons locking heaven. Once it was activated, it would consume the dragon essence in his body. This was a gamble, and she might be exhausted. For Heavenly Dragon Lady, even if she died, she had to severely injure the golden beast king beast. Otherwise, with this great enemy in front of her, once the princess went up the stage, the immortal world's strongest character would be gone. Roar! The golden beast king roared, and its terrifying body was bleeding. One after another, the dragons seemed to be breaking its flesh. The process was very painful. The 10 dragons were like chains, one after another, causing its flesh to crack and bones to break. Its entire body was about to be torn apart. He wanted to perish together with him. But anyone could see that Heavenly Dragon Lady was aging. The longer she maintained this state, the faster it would deteriorate. The dragon essence in her body was about to be completely exhausted. It's useless. Break! The golden beast king roared hysterically, and its 4 claws pressed against the ground. Its body shook violently, and a torrential chi wave roared out from its body, tearing the sky apart. The golden beast king beast went crazy, and its life source was also burning. It was even more shocking than Heavenly Dragon Lady. After all, it was a beast king beast with unparalleled potential. Crack! One after another, the dragons began to explode and shatter. The 10 dragons locking heaven formation was broken. The 10 dragons collapsed, and a blood-stained silver dragon flew out. Its dragon body was torn into pieces again, and its aging vitality was also collapsing. Xiao Di shook his head. Did they think they were all like him? He had won 3 out of 3 battles in the immortal devil battlefield. How glorious was that! But he was belittled by the great immortal elder. Even Heavenly Dragon Lady and Heavenly Force King were not convinced by him back then. Sister Heavenly Dragon Lady. Mu Xian's eyes were red, and her petite body was trembling. Even her heart was bleeding. This world was a little dark, and Mu Xian could not breathe under the pressure. Heavenly Dragon Lady screamed. She was directly grabbed by the Dark Beast King's claws, as if it was grabbing a bug. Hee, I didn't expect to be able to force me to this step, and even injure me. You're not weak. The Dark Beast King's body was full of cracks. It was also heavily injured. It said coldly, unfortunately, you're still a little lacking. If I eat that dragon, it can replenish my declining vitality. Su Yan's eyes were wide open, and his black hair was messy. He could not help but rush into the battlefield. Su Yan. The Dark Beast King's cold eyes fell on him. It shouted, angry? Angry? Very angry? What a pity, I can only finish 3 battles and have to retreat. Loser, you will die in the immortal demon battlefield. Su Yan's eyes were wide open, and bright runes rushed out of his pores. It was filled with earth-shattering power. The Dark Beast King's face was completely gloomy. He wanted to compete with the princess in the final battle and completely destroy the immortal world's fantasy. However, Su Yan's words angered him. He still called himself a loser? You've angered me, the Dark Beast King coldly shouted. If you go up the stage now, I'll let this bug go and give you a quick death. I'll let you see the reality. No. Dark Heavenly King's face was cold. Kill her immediately and look at the big picture. 1. Heavenly Dragon Lady's body was burning. She was burning herself. You want to die? The hesitant Dark Beast King suddenly used its claws to imprison the burning Heavenly Dragon Lady and sneered, "Seems like you don't want Su Yan to go up the stage. The more you act like this, the more I want him to go up the stage. Su Yan, if you dare to come, I'll spare Heavenly Dragon Lady." "Don't come, don't!" Heavenly Dragon Lady shouted. This completely atavistic Dark Beast King was too strong. Only the princess had a chance of winning. "Senior, I want to go up the stage." Su Yan begged again. Yi Linyun struggled for a while and gritted his teeth. A completely atavistic Dark Beast King should be the trump card of the Dark World. "No!" The Heavenly King of the Shinkong race frowned. "If we lose again, we'll have lost 3 battles. The hope of winning is too slim. We can't lose again." These words were cruel. Give up on Heavenly Dragon Lady, and let the princess fight to stabilize the situation. "Bastard!" Su Yan bellowed. "Do you want to see Heavenly Dragon Lady die?" "Su Yan, what do you mean by watch Heavenly Dragon Lady die?" Xiao Di frowned. "We should be looking at the big picture. How can you be so selfish? It's time for the princess to step up and fight the Golden Beast King." The princess didn't say anything. But if Su Yan went up, would that count as trading his life for the princess's? "Yes, Xiao Di is right," the Heavenly King of the Shinkong race said. "We can't lose again." "What right does a sinner have to speak here?" Su Yan shouted. "What do you mean lose again? You don't have the confidence to go up the stage, but that doesn't mean I don't." "Su Yan, how dare you?" Xiao Di's face was twisted. "A sinner?" Su Yan directly roared it out. His aura vaguely contained a terrifying aura that was about to suppress Su Yan. But Yi Linyun waved his hand and blocked Xiao Di's power. He said coldly, "What do you want? Are you rebelling?" Xiao Di's face turned ugly. He thought back to how powerful he used to be. Now, even the second immortal of the cave dared to scold him. He couldn't even refute. After all, Yi Linyun's status in the 3 realms battlefield was too high. The Heavenly King of the Shinkong race said, "He's just looking at the big picture. It's not that he's not confident." "Don't say any more. Su Yan, go up the stage." Yi Linyun nodded. This surprised the immortal monarch and the others. But when they thought about it from the second immortal's perspective, exchanging Su Yan's life for Heavenly Dragon Lady's was worth it. Even Heavenly Dragon Lady had lost. No one thought he could win. "Wait." Xiao Di raised his hand. Just as he was about to speak, Su Yan shouted, "If you don't speak, no one will think you're dead." "Bastard Su Yan, stop right there." Xiao Di was furious. He pointed at him and shouted, "Su Yan, you can't go up like this. Leave your treasures behind. Otherwise, you'll be helping the enemy." Chapter 1987. Son of AB*TCH. The Sky Force King was enraged. He walked out of the crowd and pointed at Xiao Di. "Xiao Di, I think you've gone mad. Are you trying to support the Dark World? Are you really going to rebel and join the Dark World?" "Sky Force King, what's wrong with you?" Xiao Di was furious. He could not afford to be accused like this. F***CK. The Baokai was furious. He pointed at Xiao Di and yelled, "We haven't even started and you're already so sure that Su Yan is going to lose. Xiao Di, I think you're on the same side as the Dark World. Do you want the Celestial World to lose again?" Xiao Di's face turned green with anger. Even a little Tai Baokai dared to yell at him. He had said it in a moment of desperation. He didn't think too much about it. After all, Su Yan had treasures that the Celestial World needed. If the Golden Beast King got Su Yan's inheritance, it wouldn't be good. All the soldiers frowned. Xiao Di had gone too far. What did it mean to give up before the battle? Could it be that the 10 young war gods of my world are really so weak? Did they not even have the confidence to win? Xiao Di had a feeling that something was wrong. Was he going to make everyone angry? He immediately retorted, "I'm just stating a fact. The celestial dragon maiden and the others didn't bring any treasures. If they wanted to use a weapon, they should have shown it first. The dark world would have brought a weapon on stage. They can bring a weapon? Many people were surprised. Xiao Di had successfully changed the topic. Of course they could, but there were special restrictions. They couldn't use treasures that exceeded the standard. This meant that celestial king weapons couldn't be brought on stage. Su Yan, I'm just reminding you. You don't want to see anything bad happen, do you? Xiao Di said again. Su Yan stared at Xiao Di coldly. He really wanted to kill him. This son of a bitch had suffered a great loss in the cave of the gods. He probably hated Su Yan a lot. Xiao Di, can you stop talking? Yi Linyan stared at him and threatened. I've already given you Xian people enough face. Don't forget that you're a criminal. Do you want to walk around the Three Realms battlefield in chains? Of course, this is for the Xian people, not you. Yi Linyan snorted. I also don't want the experts of the dark world to laugh at you. It would be a great humiliation for the immortal world if you were to become a sinner after winning 3 out of 3 battles. Xiao Di's face was as cold as ice. Every word was like a slap to his face. He growled in his heart, Fine, fine, fine. You're all going against me. The day I become emperor will be the day you die. None of you will live. Xiao Di was of a god. He was waiting for him to be crowned emperor. Those who had disobeyed him would all die. At that time, what would Her Highness be? If the Sky Race didn't agree, they would directly suppress the Emperor Lord of the Sky Race. This was the young emperor's belief. His goal was to become an immortal emperor. This wasn't something that could be satisfied with just a grand completion immortal king domain. Su Yan, you shouldn't have come. Celestial Dragon Maiden was covered in blood. She was too weak and could die at any moment. The energy in her body was depleted and her life force was greatly damaged. She needed a long time to recuperate. Even the Immortal King regeneration pellet couldn't help her recover in a short period of time. The Dark Beast King was a man of his word. He didn't kill Celestial Dragon Princess. It was clear that he wanted to kill Su Yan. Trust me. Go back and recuperate. Leave the rest to me. Su Yan waved his hand and sent Celestial Dragon Princess away. His cold eyes fell on the Dark Beast King. Enough nonsense. Let's fight. The Dark Beast King shouted. Although he had some injuries, he didn't think it would affect his ability to suppress Su Yan. I'll give you a chance to recuperate. I'll make sure you accept your defeat. As he stood there, Su Yan's blood boiled. He could vaguely hear the cries of the ancient ancestors exploding in his ears, causing his eyes to blaze. It was as if he could see the disciples of the heaven-burying cave one after another. I'm here. I represent the human world and the immortal world. Su Yan's emotions exploded. He couldn't control himself and almost burst into flames. Victory, victory, victory! This was Su Yan's belief. Victory! The world thought that the human world was defeated. If he could win 3 out of 3 battles in the great war of immortals and devils, he would be able to stand tall and have the qualifications to announce to the world. One day in the future, he would stand at a terrifying height and expose the sins of the immortal world. The immortal world was a vast stage. Without a strong reputation, it would be futile no matter what he said. No need. It's just a small injury. It won't affect me from killing you. The Dark Beast King's tone was very arrogant. However, just as he said that, the Dark Beast King's figure suddenly blurred as he was teleported out of the arena. What? The Dark Beast King's face changed. He was teleported out. Come back! Su Yan was furious. After losing his enemy, he wanted to eliminate the Dark Beast King to avenge Celestial Dragon Princess. Black Heavenly King, why did you stop me? I want to beat him up. The Dark Beast King was flustered and exasperated. He gave up the opportunity to kill Celestial Dragon Princess and wanted to fight Su Yan fair and square. However, the Black Heavenly King communicated with the arena. After all, he was injured. He could choose to withdraw temporarily and come back in the next battle. Of course, he could also recuperate and fight again. The Black Heavenly King was silent. He already knew that the human world's Su Yen had to be suppressed. The reason why he didn't stop the Dark Beast King from killing Celestial Dragon Princess was to ensure that Su Yen could get on the stage. Otherwise, once Celestial Dragon Princess was defeated, the immortal world would admit defeat. This was an excellent opportunity to suppress Su Yen. Also, the Dark Beast King wanted to fight Celestial Dragon Princess. He couldn't waste this precious opportunity on Su Yen. At the same time, the scene in the darkness became clearer. In the area where the Dark Beast King was, there were many Dark World War gods with terrifying and blurry auras. Haha, just a small fry from the human world. There's no need to trouble the Dark Beast King. What's left of a destroyed clan? I think the immortal world forcefully pulled him in to make up the numbers. A group of Dark World War gods walked out. They were all candidates for the competition. They kept laughing. Didn't you say you wanted to kill Celestial Dragon Princess and Immortal Monarch? There's no need to waste a promotion opportunity on a small fry from the human world. The bloody words made the Immortal Cave's disciples roar. Too arrogant. But what could they use to refute? The Dark World had already won 2 battles, but the Immortal World hadn't won a single battle. Celestial Dragon Princess was defeated. A bunch of useless chickens and pottery dogs. Don't stop chattering. Get over here and I'll kill all of you. Su Yen roared at the sky. He was even more arrogant and domineering than the Dark World's people. He stood on top of victory and wanted to face everyone alone. Even if they attacked together, Su Yen wouldn't be afraid. His spiritual will was too shocking. Celestial Dragon Princess suspected that Su Yen had broken through the abyssal ocean. If that was the case, Su Yan's spiritual will alone was enough to intimidate the Dark World War gods. Bastard, how do you want to die? You insolent bug! How dare you! You will die a miserable death in the arena. Let me go and kill him. The Dark World's kings were furious. They all asked to fight, especially the Dark Beast King. Stop arguing. Su Yen pointed at them and said angrily, Get over here and attack together. At this moment, Su Yan's spiritual will was too terrifying. It caused the immortal demon battlefield to roar. His body was filled with the belief that he was invincible. The immortal world army was affected and roared with Su Yen. We'll win this battle. Someone shouted. Their faith in Su Yen increased, and they felt that he would win this battle. The immortal monarch frowned. He didn't expect the Dark Beast King to step down. He wondered how strong the Dark World's experts were. It's Su Yen, Heaven's equal sage king. It's him, the peerless genius who defeated King Tianwu, Heaven's equal sage King Su Yen. D City was also in an uproar. A young battle god who had defeated King Tianwu was extremely famous. Could he create another miracle? They couldn't lose anymore. Otherwise, the immortal world's prestige would be swept to the ground. All the immortal kings were watching nervously. Some people were surprised. Who was Su Yen? They didn't know him? Rumors about him were widespread. Some old antiques were looking forward to it. Su Yen, who defeated King Tianwu, was definitely not an ordinary person. He had a high chance of winning. Child, do you see the person on the stage? Zhu Yu stroked her belly and said in a gentle tone, This is your father. If only you could be born a few days earlier. Your father is the most tenacious warrior. He will definitely sweep through the immortal demon battlefield and obtain great fortune so that you can grow up in the best era. She was very worried about Su Yen. She was worried that he would encounter great danger. Heavenly Dragon Maiden's defeat made her realize how powerful the Dark World was. Bamboo Moon tried her best to remain calm. She didn't want to give birth to a new life whose emotions would affect her stomach. Aunt, you're really arrogant. The Dark Monarch was furious. He raised his hand and selected a war god to send into the battlefield. At the same time, he said coldly, "Don't be beaten to death. Not even your bones will be left." "Ha ha, it's me." The young war god of the dark world laughed. He was a man with bronze skin. His body was tall and majestic. He had a pair of black wings on his back that were surrounded by black flames. "Be careful," the dark world beast couldn't help but remind. Su Yen was not weak. Although it was his Tao body that fought back then, he felt that he couldn't force out Su Yan's strongest power. In short, the dark world beast was furious. Back then, his Tao body was killed by Su Yen. He wanted to get back at him. Unfortunately, he only had one chance left. After all, every participant could only fight 3 times. After all, if everyone could participate in 10 battles, they could just seal the strongest seed. There would be no need for the immortal demon Great War. The young war god of the divine feather race snorted and said, "A human world has been destroyed. What else is left? You're worrying too much." Although the Dark Monarch ordered to capture Su Yen alive, the young war god of the divine feather race wanted to kill him even more. The Chaos Immortal Elders and the others had heavy hearts. This was an incredible supreme race. They were known for their great speed. Once they were targeted on the battlefield, it would be hard to survive. "It's him. It's actually him." A veteran's eyes turned red. He recognized this person. He had a bloody case on his body. The young war god of the divine feather race landed on the immortal demon battlefield. He looked coldly at Su Yen, who was willing to exchange life for life. He sneered. Then, he looked at the immortal world camp and said coldly, "I want to ask, is Phoenix King here? Back then, I was the one who killed the children that he was so proud of." Chapter 1988. What did you say? Su Yan's eyes widened in anger, his eyes flowing with boundless killing intent. The temperature of the area suddenly dropped to the extreme, and for a moment, it was extremely cold and frightening. Back then, the Phoenix King's children were killed by him. What did you say? In the outside world, an uncontrollable scream also exploded. Little Mu Xian, who was originally cheering for Su Yen with excitement in her eyes, stiffened. Her heart felt as if it had been stabbed with a knife. It was very painful. Mu Xian's large eyes were blood-red. She pointed at the young war god of the divine feather race and roared uncontrollably, "What did you say?" Her eyes were about to split open, and the vast figure of a true phoenix was faintly discernible behind her, emitting the ferocious aura of a supreme being. After all, Mu Xian was already an emperor, and was very powerful and extraordinary. She had only seen her parents a few times, and her memories of her parents were blurry. She did not dare to ask her grandfather what his parents looked like, afraid that he would be sad. She did not even leave a portrait of them at home. At that time, she was still very young, and she did not know who the enemy was. Now that Mu Xian was already an emperor, she was prepared to wait until she was stronger before asking her grandfather who the enemy was. She wanted to avenge her parents, avenge them. Now, in this great war of immortals and devils, the young man of the divine feather race directly said the truth that Mu Xian wanted to know the most in the cruelest tone. Sigh. Many old soldiers were sighing. Back then, the Phoenix King had almost died because of this matter. The old soldiers here all knew that the Phoenix King had killed 2 Dark World Immortal Kings in a frenzy when he entered the 3 Realms battlefield. One had to know that once such a thing happened, the Dark World would definitely take revenge. Yi Linyun was also very clear that back then, a great success Immortal King had killed his way here, and this person was still standing together with the Black Heavenly King. The storm caused by that battle back then was very terrifying. The Dark World sent out troops to kill the Phoenix King like crazy. After all, the Phoenix King was also on the Dark World's must-kill list. The immortal Phoenix army he established was not an ordinary force. It was one of the famous 10 great immortal Phoenix armies, and was the main force guarding the 3rd battlefield. In that battle back then, the top experts of the immortal Phoenix army charged over without any regard for their lives. They sacrificed their endless resources and lives to protect the Phoenix King who was about to die in battle. Isn't it clear? Why are you angry? Are you related to the Phoenix King? The man with divine feathers glanced at Su Yan and said cruelly, I say, the mortal world has already been destroyed by my world. You're really pitiful to come up and trade your life for his. I think you should just admit defeat and surrender. Bug, I will cut you into 1,000 pieces. Su Yan growled. The blood debt of the Phoenix King's children was on him. He had always wanted to repay the Phoenix King, but he didn't expect the opportunity to come so quickly. Very good, you have guts. Let's see how long you can laugh for. Let's fight, ha ha. The divine feather race's young war god's face was gloomy. He didn't expect this person's tone to be so savage. He truly didn't believe that the human realm could produce a young overlord from its golden age. Su Yan, wait a moment. Is the person from the divine feather race you? Is it you? Mu Xian screamed uncontrollably. Her eyes were bloodshot. She wanted to cry, but she held back her sobs. Her silver hair stood on end. Didn't I tell you just now? I didn't expect you to not know of my existence. The man with divine feathers stared coldly at Mu Xian and commented, That's unexpected. It's a little girl, a little true phoenix. But miss, your skin is soft and tender. You're definitely more delicious than the Phoenix King's son. Pfft, Mu Xian trembled and coughed up blood. She almost fainted. The man from the divine feather race's words were like sharp knives that stabbed into Mu Xian's heart. She let out a choked cry as tears of blood flowed from her eyes. Her parents had been eaten. She didn't dare to imagine what had happened to her parents and how much pain and suffering they had endured. Mu Xian growled, heartbroken. She let out a heart-wrenching cry. She was too sad and couldn't bear such a cruel truth. The Baokai roared. Mu Xian's father had been eaten. This was too cruel. Mu Xian couldn't bear it. Her silver hair danced. She couldn't bear it and burst into tears. She also wanted to charge forward. Calm down. The old monkey sighed and grabbed Mu Xian. Once she charged forward, she would be killed by the laws of the immortal devil war. Mu Xian cried bitterly. How could she calm down? Ha ha ha, you're so pitiful. The young war god of the divine feather race sneered. Really pitiful. You can't even avenge your parents. So pitiful. What true phoenix? That dragon just now was the same. The heavily injured heavenly dragon lady clenched her fists. Her eyes flashed with bone-chilling coldness. Su Yan, kill him, kill him! Mu Xian cried bitterly. Her heart was filled with grief. She hated herself for being useless. Now, she could only place her hopes on Su Yan. Su Yan, kill him! The heavenly monkey king's eyes widened in anger as he roared. Beat him up right now, quick! The young emperor sneered in his heart. He didn't expect the Phoenix King's son to be eaten by a man from the divine feather race. No wonder he had charged into the Three Realms battlefield in rage. After all, it was a true phoenix. Just the thought of it moved him. If he was crowned emperor one day, he would also want to taste the true phoenix banquet. Why are you so angry that you're vomiting blood? The man from the divine feather race burst into laughter. Do you want to come into my stomach and reunite with your parents? Oh right, I forgot to tell you. Back then, I left some broken bones and gave them to the Phoenix King as a greeting gift. I also told him that when I step into the immortal king realm in the future, I'll eat him and let the three of them reunite in my stomach. Ha! Kill him, Su Yan, kill him, Mu Xian roared. Her body trembled uncontrollably as if she had gone mad. She hated that she couldn't get on the stage and avenge her parents. Mu Xian, don't worry. I'll kill him with one punch. I mean it. Su Yan's eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. The Phoenix King had done him a great favor, but his children had been eaten alive. Su Yan didn't dare to imagine how angry the Phoenix King was back then. This worm. The young emperor sneered in his heart. Su Yan was really arrogant. He wanted to see how long he could be so arrogant. You piece of trash, you've really angered me. The young war god of the divine feather race was enraged. He pressed forward with killing intent and said coldly, "Do you know the consequences of a worm being rude to a true dragon? I'll beat you to a pulp and crush your bones one by one. I'll let you know who the world belongs to, and who should be the leader of the younger generation." Kill. Su Yan's black hair was like a waterfall. His eyes were filled with killing intent. It was too bright and blazing. His body suddenly crossed the battlefield like a star in the universe. He suddenly appeared in front of the divine feather race man. The Monkey King clenched his fists and took out a time and space scroll. He was prepared to record the battle scene. He also didn't summon the Phoenix King out of seclusion. He believed that Su Yan's battle could vent the Phoenix King's accumulated anger. A group of people who want to crush me? Piece of trash, within 100 moves. I'll make it so that you won't even be able to catch the corner of my clothes. The divine feather race man didn't release any killing moves. He seemed very calm. His hands were behind his back. His wings suddenly spread out, turning into huge black wings. They were like clouds in the sky. They suddenly rose from the ground and flew towards a corner of the battlefield. Kill. Su Yan roared again. Killing intent surged in his eyes. He was like a peerless overlord who could split heaven and earth. His roar shook the starry sky and the boundless earth. The entire time and space, the world, was filled with Su Yan's power. His heart was filled with anger. Ever since he stepped into the immortal world, he had never been so angry. At this moment, Su Yan was standing at his peak. His body's chi and blood were vast and mighty, covering the sky and the sun. Then, it pressed down, covering the vast universe. It was grand and majestic, spectacular and terrifying. Heavens, everyone was shocked. What level of physical body was this? The chi and blood emitted was too dense, drowning the entire world. Su Yan went crazy. The immortal devil battlefield was shaking. The divine feather race man's speed was greatly reduced. Su Yan's domineering aura overflowed. The human body's great treasure opened. The sky cracked open, and the universe's stars fell down. It was too shocking. The power emitted by the physical body suppressed the divine feather race's young war god. No matter how he struggled and flapped his huge wings, he couldn't break free. It was as if the great world was suppressing his physical body. Roar, the divine feather race man screamed. His body burned fiercely. His wings became even larger, filled with terrifying power. He wanted to break through this imprisoned world and kill his way out. However, the chanting of sutras filled the world. Su Yan suddenly became solemn and dignified. He chanted the sutra of the great Tao. The sun and moon, the beginning of all things, appeared in the immortal devil battlefield world. Suppress. Su Yan pointed. The universe rumbled. The aura he emitted was so strong and domineering that it made people tremble. Baokai was stunned. Under Su Yan's fury, he had a new understanding of the heaven-suppressing art. The universe's sutra order revolved, once again imprisoning his huge body. The divine feather race's young war god screamed. He had a bad premonition. He ignited his life source. The wings on his back suddenly surged, burning with black flames that filled the sky. However, it was useless. Su Yan's suppressive power shocked the world. The entire battlefield rumbled, and the star domain shook. This was too domineering. He was suppressing the divine feather race's young war god alive. Kill him! Mu Xian screamed. She was about to go crazy from the torture. Kill! On the battlefield, the invincible war god roared. Heaven and earth reincarnated. An unimaginable spirit and willpower welcomed a great explosion. The settled ferocious aura, the dormant willpower, and the terrifying belief. He was invincible in the world, and his bravery dominated the world. The extremely terrifying scene made all the saints despair. What kind of willpower was this? The great Tao of heaven and earth was wailing. It was as if a slumbering emperor was ruling the world. The experts' prestige surged fiercely. The entire space-time sank into a bloody era. There were mountains of corpses and seas of blood. It was incomparably bitter and cruel. It was even more cruel than purgatory in the mortal world. Su Yen was even more terrifying than a demonic sovereign. He was even more frightening than a vicious demon. He brought with him a world-shattering storm, causing the immortal demon battlefield to fall into an age of doomsday. Ah! The divine feather race's war god roared. He felt fear, as if he was facing his race's ancestral god. What kind of willpower was this? A sea of blood overflowed and corpses were endless. The murderous aura was matchless and pierced his soul. He felt as insignificant as an ant as he trembled in fear. Even the divine feather race's young war god's body was shrinking. He felt endless despair as he faced the ruler of his life. It was as if an emperor was looking down on him. His body was suppressed, and his willpower was destroyed. He couldn't suppress Su Yan's ferocious might at all. At the final moment, he let out a mournful cry. Although his body was small, he knelt before Su Yan and paid his respects. He couldn't bear it at all. This was a willpower comparable to an emperor's. It evolved into a realistic fantasy, as if the 33rd layer of the underworld had been deduced. Everyone was stupefied. What kind of situation was this? This was too tyrannical. The divine feather race's war god knelt on the ground and paid his respects. From start to finish, Su Yan didn't even use force. Right now, there should be monthly vote. Grit your teeth. Chapter 1989. Thunder rumbled, and their ears went deaf. Stop shouting, the younger generation of the Imperial City shouted. I can't take it anymore. My ears are about to explode. Are you crazy? Can't you let us young people admire the glory of the heavens' equal sage king? The Imperial City was in an uproar. It was like billions of thunderclaps shaking the heavens and the earth. It swept through the vast ancient world, and its influence continued to spread and climb. The extremely terrifying scene shook the universe. Within the Imperial City, all the experts were in an uproar. They roared at the sky, and their faces were filled with fanaticism. It could be said that they had really gone crazy. Awesome, awesome, this is 2F** King awesome. The immortal kings were roaring, completely unable to control their emotions. It was as if they were really going berserk. Their chests were violently heaving, and their blood was burning. It was as if they had become glorious together with Su Yan. In the heavens and the earth, the universe was filled with cheers. On the grand floating arena in the Imperial City, in the immortal demon battlefield, Su Yan, who came from the immortal world camp, stood indomitable and domineering. This was very terrifying. He was simply the reincarnation of a young celestial emperor, who had enlightened the young god of war of the winged race. Who is he? Who can tell me who he is? The old antiques who had been sleeping for a long time walked out of their cave abodes and came to the Imperial City to watch the immortal demon war. They looked at Su Yan, and their eyes were almost filled with tears. Heaven's equal sage king, Su Yan. Someone replied in a fanatical tone. What a magnificent feat, what an earth-shattering scene. The young god of war of the winged race of the dark world was kneeling before Su Yan and worshipping him. When had such a ridiculous thing happened? It had never happened before. In the past, the immortal world had won more than lost in the immortal world, but this time was different. Although they had lost the first two battles, and the heavenly dragon maiden had also been defeated. In this battle, Su Yan had turned the tide and saved everything. It's fake. The soldiers standing on the immortal demon wall were all stunned, and they could not say a word. Wasn't the scene in front of them too surreal? Only Xiaodi's words echoed in the silent world. He was also stunned. Could the young god of war of the Holy Feather race be a member of the Cien people in the Dark World? After a brief moment of silence, the world burst into an uproar. Invincible! Suddenly, the soldiers all over the sky roared in unison. The low and gloomy aura of the immortal world instantly exploded to its peak, and it continued to burn and seethe, causing an unparalleled storm of prosperity. Suddenly, some of the immortal grotto disciples began to scream excitedly. This was simply too valiant. They were forced to their knees and prostrated in worship. Ha 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 ha! The Heavenly Force King and the others roared with laughter. This battle had been won too beautifully, and it was enough to be recorded in the history of the immortal realm. Immortal Monarch and the others were silent. It was hard to tell whether their expressions were ugly or happy. In short, there was a bone-piercing chill in their hearts. This enemy was truly somewhat terrifying. He had concealed himself too deeply. Bastard, in the darkness, a holy feather race immortal king with a huge pair of wings on his back was so angry that his eyes were about to pop out. He was so angry that he was about to spit blood. The young god of war of the holy feather race had knelt on the arena, creating a record, a great humiliation. The group of invincible gods of war were about to go crazy. What was this? They were so angry that they were trembling. They wanted nothing more than to charge into the battlefield and tear him apart. Shut up, all of you! The Black Heavenly King and the others' faces were gloomy. They released their essence, chi, and spirit, suppressing their violent emotions. Yi Linyun and the others were breathing heavily. They could clearly see that Su Yan's spiritual will was comparable to an emperor's. He had shattered the spiritual will of the Holy Feather Race god of war. Supreme spiritual intimidation. Could it be that Su Yan had passed the Abyssal Sea? The Black Heavenly King and the others clearly saw it as well. Their expressions changed drastically. A young man in the Daesong domain had a spiritual will that surpassed a great success immortal king. Then what had he experienced? How much hardship and suffering had he gone through? Could it be that another invincible person of the same generation was going to be born in the immortal world? Their goal in this battle was to kill the princess, but they never thought that a super dark horse would appear. Father, mother, your revenge has been avenged, tears rolled down Mu Xian's big eyes. Suddenly, she saw the Holy Feather Race's young god of war kneeling in front of Su Yan. However, her parents were still dead. The pain in her heart could be relieved a little. Bastard, at this time, the Holy Feather Race man kneeling in front of Su Yan roared. His spiritual will was showing signs of rebuilding. Veins popped out all over his body as he struggled in Su Yan's spiritual purgatory world. He tried to crawl up, but he was in despair again and again. No! He roared in pain as if he had gone crazy. Sometimes he cried, sometimes he laughed. This was completely demented. It made the experts of the dark world let out hysterical roars. Shame, it was a great shame. Kill me! The Holy Feather Race's young god of war could sometimes maintain some clarity. He howled in despair and wanted nothing more than to die immediately. He was unwilling to bear this kind of humiliation. Chi. Su Yan suddenly raised his hand and slashed out a bright sword light, slashing on his body. The Holy Feather Race's young god of war screamed. He did not die, but his life was cut by a sword. This was a sword strike that could sever time. Every strike caused great damage to his vitality, his life force to decline, and his cultivation level to drop. The Holy Feather Race's young god of war howled in fear. He was gradually aging, and his life was also drying up. Soon, he turned into a tiny ant, kneeling in front of Su Yan and trembling. He had completely submitted. This scene made the experts of the dark world even more furious. You want to die, you want to die. No one has ever dared to humiliate the experts of the dark world. No one. Even if you are stronger, no immortal world expert has ever dared to humiliate the dark world like this. You will die in the Three Realms battlefield and fall in the immortal Devil War. The group of invincible kings roared, their emotions going crazy. There was no other way. Su Yan's attitude was too high. In the immortal world camp, his domineering attitude was overflowing. But to the dark world, it was a great humiliation. What do I, Su Yan, fear? His eyes flashed with a cold light. He kicked the Holy Feather Race's young god of war away, smashing him in front of Mu Xian. Instantly, his spirit and will recovered. He let out a loud roar, wanting to break free and commit suicide. But it was too late. Mu Xian's fist punched forward, blasting him alive. Even his primordial spirit was grasped in Mu Xian's hand. No. The Holy Feather Race's young god of war screamed. He would rather commit suicide than die in Mu Xian's hands, die in the hands of the descendant of the creature he ate back then. Unfortunately, he was powerless to stop it. His primordial spirit was crushed inch by Mu Xian. Mu Xian's silver hair danced in the wind. She wanted nothing more than to shout to the sky and tell her parents who died tragically that their revenge had been avenged. Baokai was a little silent. If the Phoenix King saw it with his own eyes, it would definitely relieve some of the hatred. Su Yan, you are too arrogant. I will suppress you and throw you into the dark world, where you will be tortured for a long time. An expert with a human face and a snake body roared. The third battle ended in a humiliating manner. Who's next? Su Yan's black hair draped over his shoulders. He said coldly, "Don't talk nonsense. I will give you a handicap of one hand. It is enough to crush you. Kill, 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 invincible." The immortal devil wall erupted with a monstrous battle cry. Countless soldiers roared. Their figures were glorious and resplendent together with Su Yan. They were indomitable and truly straightened their backs. The dark world's war god with a human face and a snake body roared and strongly requested to join the battle. Black Heavenly King's face was gloomy. Such an existence with a transcendent spirit and will was a greater threat than the princess and the others. He had great hopes of reaching the Dark Realm in the future. He had to be eliminated and killed in the cradle. Immortal world, do you want to change people? Black Heavenly King suppressed the anger in his heart and asked coldly. Of course not. Xiao Di spoke first. He knew very well that with Su Yan's strength, he would definitely draw out the Dark World's ultimate trump card. Otherwise, if Su Yan survived, even if the Dark World won, it would be a great humiliation to the Dark World. Baokai snorted coldly. This King Xiao Di couldn't wait for Su Yan to die in the immortal demon war. He really didn't have the slightest bit of shame for his race. Living in the legends of the emperors, did he think that the immortal world couldn't leave the emperors? Boom! In an instant, a wild and violent aura that could destroy the heavens and the earth surged out. A huge black crack appeared on the immortal demon battlefield as it charged towards Su Yan. It contained a shocking killing power that could kill in space and time. Su Yan stepped on the sky. He had the ambition to devour the universe. No matter how the world changed, no matter how shocking the killing power was, he remained unmoved. The roar exploded and a terrifying aura filled the world. The immortal demon battlefield changed drastically. A golden beast king crossed the battlefield and looked down at the universe. The aura it emitted made people tremble. The golden beast king, who had completely reverted to its ancestry, appeared. Its voice rumbled and shook the immortal demon battlefield. Su Yan, how do you want to die? The golden beast king's eyes narrowed. I wanted to have a fair fight with you and let you die with dignity. But you shouldn't have been too arrogant and overbearing. You really shouldn't have. With a final roar, the golden beast king completely changed. Its entire body was golden. Even its bones, blood, flesh, and eyes turned golden. It was full of monstrous divine power. The galaxy was vast, the stars trembled, and the universe seemed to explode. It was ridiculously terrifying and extremely powerful. It was like an endless burning sun. Its vast chi and blood were burning the saints. It shook the universe. How is that possible? The expression of the great success immortal king of the Man Huang tribe changed drastically. Could he be the son of the ancestor god of the dark beast ancestor? The princess's breathing was heavy, and her eyes flashed with shock. Everything had reverted to its ancestry. Was he really the son of the ancestor god? If that was the case, then this golden beast king would be the most terrifying war god in the dark world. Even someone as powerful as the princess felt the shocking pressure. Once Su Yan was defeated, she had to participate in the battle. Otherwise, the immortal world would choose to admit defeat directly. But this time, it was most likely not. After all, the lineup of the immortal cave was too big. Once they lost, the immortal world would suffer a heavy blow. The son of the ancestor god of the dark beasts. All the war gods in the dark world trembled. How can this be? Once the son of the ancestor god comes out of seclusion, he will dominate the world. We will never be able to stand out. They were shocked. Even the heavenly dragon maiden was frightened. The dark beast king just now was strong enough. Now, Su Yan was facing the strongest overlord in the dark world. The Baokai was covered in cold sweat. What should it do? It wanted to pull Su Yan away. But once the immortal demon war started, no one could interfere. Su Yan, come and accept your death. As the golden beast king roared, the sky trembled, the sun and the moon wailed, and the whole battlefield shook. Su Yan stood in the battlefield world with an indomitable spirit. No matter how great the changes in the world were, he was not affected or disturbed. He contained an invincible spirit as he coldly said, "Back then, I could kill you once. Now, it's no exception." Chapter 1990. The golden king beast's divine light flourished as if it was made of immortal gold. It was filled with a strong deadly feeling. Boom! Its golden fur danced in the wind as it let out a loud roar that shook the mountains and rivers. The thick earth cracked open as rocks rolled. The universe was rumbling. The war god contestants of the various races of the dark world were silent. Once the son of the ancestor god appeared, he would dominate the world. No one could stop him. The geniuses of the dark world would also lose all their glory. A pair of golden pupils burned like the sun, shooting out golden divine light. The emperors were all terrified, not daring to look at it. They only felt that their bodies were about to be melted. The huge imperial city couldn't be quiet. Everyone was in heated discussion. Even the immortal kings had a bad feeling. Bamboo Moon's slender hands were clenched tightly as she forcefully suppressed the panic in her heart. She believed that her man wouldn't be weaker than anyone else. Definitely not. Ha ha ha, as the golden king beast laughed, its huge body glowed and filled the world. The sea of stars in its golden pupils was illusory, causing time and space to tremble, collapse, and even distort. Who dared to deny its strength? Yi Linyun was worried for Su Yan. The enemy he encountered was too strong. This was the trump card of the dark world, a golden king beast that could be called the son of the ancestor god. Su Yan, come and accept your death. In an instant the sky cracked. This was merely the chi and blood within the golden king beast's body howling. Who would dare to believe that this was a Daesong? That kind of combat power, that kind of aura, it was extremely dense. The emperors were all terrified, goosebumps rising all over their bodies. Who could match it? The soldiers of the immortal world roared. Su Yan had displayed overwhelming might in the first battle. If he was defeated and crushed in the second battle, it would naturally be a heavy blow to the immortal world. Kill, it had arrived. Its roar split the heavens and blood leaked out from its pores, tearing apart the universe. The entire world was filled with large cracks, especially its body. It was like a huge star had charged out from hell, charging towards Su Yan with lightning speed. One-hit kill. Cheers surged from the camp of the dark world. These people hated Su Yan to the extreme. He had shamed the dark world and caused the dignity of the divine feather race to fall. One-hit kill. The immortal kings of the divine feather race roared. The aura released by the golden king beast was too shocking. The sky full of golden chi and blood destroyed the universe. The strongest and tyrannical body. Once the son of the ancestor god's son is born, he will dominate the world and the three realms. The war gods of the various races in the dark world all roared, "Kill all those who resist." What does a mere human realm expert count for? It's over before it even starts? Shao Di sneered inwardly. The celestial demon battlefield was completely covered by the golden beast king's golden blood. It carried a terrifying power that could destroy everything. It was already closing in on Su Yan, whose figure was gradually blurring. At the same time, Shao Di was thinking of a way to stop Princess from participating in the battle. If she were to die, the woman he regarded as his exclusive possession would also be gone. That would be his greatest regret in his future history as an emperor. Heaven's equal saint. It was unknown who shouted, but it caused the silent soldiers in the world to roar angrily. They cheered for Su Yan and boosted his fighting spirit. Even though he was suddenly defeated, they also hoped that Su Yan would fight a proper battle. Look, suddenly the world changed. In the destructive area where the golden king beast was emitting strong chi and blood, a figure rose from the ground. It was like a god of war awakened from the chaos. It was incomparably terrifying. Boom! Su Yan waved his fist. It was fierce and domineering. His fist mark tore through the sky full of golden chi and blood, and in this process, Su Yan continued to surge. His body was like the golden age of the universe. Vast waves spread out, causing the stars to collapse. Roar! The golden king beast roared and charged. Its chi and blood instantly went berserk. Its killing intent was boundless and swept across the universe. The two great experts at their peak clashed. Heaven and earth rumbled and trembled violently. Ferocious power splashed out, covering the entire battlefield. Kill! Su Yan shouted. His chi could swallow mountains and rivers. He waved his fist mark and looked down on everything. One punch after another. Every punch was extremely fast and violent. It was so dazzling that people couldn't open their eyes. The golden king beast roared and waved its claws. Again and again, it could tear the sky and the sea. It was powerful enough to tear apart the universe and stars. It clashed with Su Yan's fist mark. Oh my God! The gods were shocked. The scene became more and more shocking. The stars in the sky trembled, the moon disintegrated, and the galaxy changed its course. The strongest power of the saints rose, exploded, and swept across. In the end, the two great experts roared at the same time. Like two giant pillars, they broke through the sky. Their Dharma power was overwhelming. In a short time, they clashed more than 100 times, causing destructive energy ripples on the battlefield of the immortals and fiends. All the saints trembled. They were too powerful. Even the heavenly king of the starry sky race was amazed. This was the most powerful Su Yan, the most invincible god of war. Su Yan had hidden his strength too well. Only now did the world discover his peak combat power. Su Yan's passing of the 7 heavenly passes must have been deliberately concealed. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so powerful. Even when he fought with King Tianwu, he didn't activate his peak combat power. Roar! The golden beast king roared. Its murderous intent covered the sky and covered the earth. Its flesh and blood seemed to be on fire. The fur on its body danced in the wind. It was as if billions of sword embryos were unsheathed. It was ferocious. Its combat power went berserk again, and it pounced on Su Yan. With a loud roar, Su Yan's black hair danced in the wind. It was so terrifying that it seemed to be splitting the sky and the earth, reshaping the sea of stars in the sky. Every strand of his hair seemed to be in the shape of everything in the world, containing endless power. Boom! The battle escalated. It was incomparably intense, and had reached its climax. A destructive storm howled in the immortal devil battlefield. Everywhere was filled with roars that made gods and devils tremble. Heaven and earth were disintegrated and countless cracks appeared. It was as if a corner of the immortal devil battlefield had been destroyed. Clang, sparks flew all over the sky, burning the void. A trace of shock flashed in the eyes of the princess. Su Yan had definitely broken through the most difficult challenge of the celestial dragon realm. Even his hair changed. It collided with the golden hair of the golden king beast. It was like a huge killing weapon colliding with each other. God of War, this is the God of War of our immortal world. His body can compete with the son of the ancestor god. He can fight with the complete body of the dark king beast. In the imperial city, the immortal kings of the older generation roared. They had completely lost control of their emotions. This was the most terrifying god of war. His fighting posture was powerful and domineering. It was so tyrannical that it made the gods tremble. Just how powerful were they? Although there was the suppression and isolation of the immortal devil battlefield, the world's order of heaven and earth was trembling as if it was disintegrating. One could imagine how fierce it was. Kill! As the golden king beast roared, its hair was burning. The bones in its body shone one after another, containing a vast divine might. It was so terrifying that it wanted to pierce through the universe. Boom! The golden king beast's body rose into a huge and blurry golden figure. Its roar shook the universe, splitting the sky and splitting the sea. Its power was at the peak. It had broken through the saint realm and rushed into the emperor realm. This roar was enough to shake the 3,000 worlds. It was an unparalleled divine ability belonging to the dark king beast lineage. It specialized in breaking the body. The laws and order of the world exploded, giving birth to a destructive attack. At a speed visible to the naked eye, it was as if a huge golden beast king had appeared in front of Su Yan in an instant, wanting to swallow him whole. Boom! Su Yan stood in the sky with a peerlessly dignified aura. His body was like the sea of the universe that contained everything in the world. In an instant, boundless order of the laws flowed out, and it contained a great aura that suppressed the world. It was peerlessly brave. Boom! Su Yan lifted his foot and stepped forward. At this moment, he was full of the majesty of a supreme being. The heaven-suppressing art was released. The golden foot seemed to have crossed the river of time. Suddenly, it stepped on the huge and blurry golden king beast's shadow, drenched in blood. At this moment, Su Yan seemed to have stepped on the head of an ancestor god. He was indomitable and dominating the world. Roar! The golden king beast roared. Thunder rumbled in its body. The unparalleled pressure almost shattered it, but its flesh and blood burned even more fiercely under the pressure. It released an even more ferocious attack, shaking off the heaven-suppressing art's suppression and charging toward Su Yan. Kill! Su Yan roared again. His combat power was wild. His black hair danced like a waterfall. His majestic appearance shocked the world. His moves were grand, and he began to suppress forward. Boom! Heaven and earth roared. Su Yan's aura swallowed 100,000 miles. It was like a huge golden mountain, suppressing the universe and invincible. The golden king beast's body was trembling. The blood in its body was boiling. It almost couldn't stand still. Su Yan's fist was too domineering. It was like the vast sea of stars had fallen. The void trembled and collapsed. His divine power shook the world. Su Yan's every move contained the power to suppress the universe. He had already integrated the heaven-suppressing art into his battlefield, allowing Su Yan to dominate the world. Good, the heavenly power king shouted. Su Yan's body was too domineering. It was like an immortal furnace burning. The sky was filled with pressure, as if it covered the 9 heavens and 10 earths, suppressing the entire immortal devil battlefield. The golden king beast's nose and mouth were bleeding. Its flesh and blood felt like it was being crushed by Su Yan. The world was shocked. The Golden King beast was suppressed and injured. It couldn't stop Su Yen. Su Yen charged over in a tyrannical manner. His tall figure was imposing, and both of his palms smashed down at the same time. The boundless sea of stars resonated with it, and the suppressive power soared by a large margin. Even the visible sky started to become infinitely dark. Roar! The Golden King beast let out an earth-shattering roar. Its body was burning, and it was covered in dazzling Tao runes. When it was fully released, it became even more ferocious. Without a doubt, this was the supreme potential of its bloodline. Its battle power exploded in its berserk state, and it suddenly shook off Su Yan's suppression. He forced it to its complete form. Cold lightning flashed in Heavenly King Hei's eyes. He had really underestimated Su Yan. Once the complete form of a Beast King was unleashed, its terrifying strength would spread in all directions. It was enough to tear apart the strongest of its generation and was invincible. It's time to end this. The Golden Beast King roared, and its physical body went berserk. The blood it emitted was even more turbulent than the ocean, collapsing the mountains and rivers. In an instant it surged towards Su Yen, forming an endless storm that covered the starry sky. Yi Linyun was roaring. How could it be so strong? Was this really a Daesong? It was like an invincible emperor was roaring. The stars in the sky were drowned. The world was shaking. The giant beast was about to kill Su Yen. Kill! Su Yen roared. He waved a huge fist that reflected the sun, moon, mountains, and rivers. It suddenly hit forward. The fist also enlarged in an instant. The invincible fist destroyed the storm in the sky and smashed into the Golden King beast's huge claw. Boom! There was a huge tremor. Heaven and earth collapsed, and the boundless earth trembled. There was blood that splashed out, surging like waves, submerging this region of destruction. A figure flew outwards from within. Chapter 1991. Blood splattered everywhere. Then, a figure was sent flying away. It seemed that Su Ping had been defeated. The entire imperial city fell silent. Everyone held their breath. Su Yan's strength had shocked them. The Beast King's power made their hair stand on end. They would rather see Su Yan lose than see him die. Bamboo Moon's heart was pounding. Even though the image was blurry, she could tell at a glance that it was Su Yan who was sent flying. Su Yan was injured. He had been sent flying. Blood was dripping from his fist. It was a ghastly sight. Goldie's body stiffened. He was well aware of how strong Su Yan's body was. However, the strongest Beast King of the Dark Race was invincible when it was in its complete form. It would be too difficult for Su Yan to win that battle. Su Yan, Heaven's equal saint. Brother Su, the Sky Force King and the other disciples of the Cave of the Gods were panicking. Was Su Yan going to die? His fist was cracked and the white bones could be seen. It was obvious that he had suffered a terrible injury. His entire arm was dripping with blood. The Lord Deity couldn't help but sigh. He admitted that Su Yan was strong. Unfortunately, he had encountered a Golden Beast King. It's a good ending to go on the road of glory. Xiao Di sneered. Su Yan's strength had shocked him. However, the trump card that the Dark World had prepared to deal with the princess was forced out by Su Yan. Bao Kai shouted. He was worried that Su Yan would lose. The consequences would be unimaginable. This was a war between the Celestials and the demons. No one could interfere. Yi Linyun and the others were breathing heavily. They were trying their best to stay calm. Ha ha ha, a Beast King is a Beast King. A Beast King in its complete form can dominate the world. The strong warriors of the human world are no match for it. His strength is undeniable, but it's a pity that he was born in the wrong era. This also indicates that the destiny of the mortal world has come to an end. Such a terrifying war god just had to encounter a complete Beast King. How sad. Some sneered and some whispered. Naturally, the Dark World was in an uproar. As long as the Beast King could crush Su Yan, it would be enough to avenge their humiliation. They had also won 3 battles, and the Golden Beast King had won all 3. Su Yan's face was cold. He did not say a word, nor did he feel discouraged. This kind of injury was not a problem for him. Su Yan, this is your fate. The Gold Beast King kept roaring. It was very intimidating. Its burning gold body had a scary presence. It covered the universe again. It forced its way over. Its aura was too ferocious, as if it was an unrivaled beast that had broken through its shackles. Its golden body emitted scarlet rays of light, as if the most terrifying killing intent had erupted from purgatory, shattering this shattered world. It was closing in, and its aura was becoming more and more ferocious and violent. The Beast King is also injured. At this time, the great success Immortal King of the Savage tribe shouted coldly. He found that the Beast King's claws were broken, but its injuries were naturally much lighter than Su Yan's. The atmosphere of the Immortal Devil battlefield was oppressive to the extreme. Many people found it difficult to breathe. Suddenly, the battlefield was isolated, but there was still an unparalleled aura that terrified the saints of the immortal world. It was as if the end of the universe had arrived. Kill. In an instant, the Beast King stretched out its big claws and suppressed Su Yan. Su Yan let out a long roar. The blood-stained fist shone, and he erupted with 120% of his combat strength. He attacked the Golden Beast King again. This was a tough battle. Su Yan's punches drew blood. Every punch landed on the Golden Beast King's body. It was as if he was bombarding Mount Eternal. Its physical body was too abnormal. It was filled with mysterious and unpredictable power that could shock the heavens and earth. I can't beat it. The cruel reality caused the immortal world camp to be in chaos. Was Su Yan really going to be defeated? You're very pitiful. You don't have the strongest power to compete with me. The princess and the others can't either. This time, I'm the most invincible expert of the dark world. The Beast King roared, and golden ripples swept out from its mouth. It suddenly pressed down on Su Yan, wanting to shatter his body with its roar. The world collapsed, and the killing intent was endless. Many people couldn't bear to watch. They closed their eyes, unable to bear to see Su Yan's war god wither. Is that so? Su Yan waved his fist. It seemed calm, but the power it contained pushed the golden ripples all over the sky, and the world exploded. That is. Yi Linyun's eyes flashed with a trace of shock. Su Yan had changed. He pressed forward step by step, and with every step, his body's aura grew stronger. The Golden Beast King had a bad feeling. It instantly rushed up and released its most violent power, wanting to kill Su Yan. Kill, it roared, and waved its claws with the strongest and most domineering power. It shattered the sky, and fell like a terrifying devil star. Su Yan roared into the sky, and raised his combat strength to the extreme. It was as if he had turned into a condensed war god. In an instant, the aura of heaven's burial was released, and the light of 10,000 bodies bloomed. Su Yan's roar shook the starry sky, dominating the world. The heaven's burial body burned, and the most terrifying potential was surging. The 10,000 bodies fused together, and instantly blocked the golden claws of the Beast King. Kill, the heaven's burial fist was unparalleled. It collapsed the world, and was filled with the power to bury the world. It covered the Golden Beast King, and its body was a little gray. The entire immortal devil battlefield was a little blurry. Heaven's burial fist. Su Yan roared. His fist was unparalleled, and this was also his complete form. This fist pressed down on the golden heavenly beast, causing its body to dim. Even its huge claws were cracking, as if they were about to explode. Heaven's burial body. Heavenly King Black's face changed. How could he not know about the strongest body in the human world? However, after seeing Su Yan's appearance, he was sure that he had completed the evolution. He had condensed the essence of the heaven's burial body and evolved an invincible combat strength. Boom, boom, boom in the gray world and the blurry battlefield, The power of heaven's burial swept out, covering the sky and the sun. Su Yen punched again and again, unleashing terrifying energy waves that caused the heavenly beast's body to tremble. Suddenly, he had an indestructible body. If he used the power of buried heaven to counterbalance it, and if he used the strongest human strength to kill it, he would definitely be able to hammer it to death. Kill. Invincible. The depressed soldiers in the world roared, "The war god is invincible. Su Yen, the war god is invincible." Kill. The heroes' blood boiled as they counterattacked. Su Yen had revealed his strongest trump card. He wanted to bury the entire world and kill all the invincible war gods. Roar. The golden king beast's body was bleeding profusely, and there were fist marks all over its body. Under the suppression of the endless burial heaven domain, the golden king beast suddenly roared. An endless devouring power gushed out of its pores, sweeping through this suppressed world. This devouring power was terrifying. It was like a demon was destroying the world. The world was full of golden vortexes, trying to break Su Yan's physical strength. Devour the sky and decimate the earth. The Beast King roared. Blood splattered all over its body. The golden vortex in the sky covered Su Yan's shell and cruelly suppressed him. Some people felt that Su Yan was aging and withering. Su Yan was shocked. What a domineering secret skill. It was so powerful that even his physical body was declining. However, Su Yan was not afraid. He released his ultimate strength and suppressed the world. Once again, he waved his fist and attacked the golden beast. Talent, devour. The beast's roar shook the sky. Its body suddenly exuded endless devouring power, blurring and distorting time and space. The endless power of time and space penetrated its body. Roar. The beast was infuriated. Its body suddenly became much more magnificent. This was a prehistoric beast roaring. Its combat ability soared, shattering the heaven's burial field and pouncing on Su Yan. In the blink of an eye, Su Yan's body was enormous, transforming into a giant that could cover the sky and the sea. The heaven, earth, and man skills were activated. The giant flew across the sky and activated his celestial eye and celestial feet. A fierce collision began. What a horrifying battle! The older generation's warriors felt their blood freeze. The collision on the battlefield of the deities and demons was fierce. There were earth-shattering roars and invincible combat abilities. The battle had progressed beyond people's expectations. The giant with a huge body and the prehistoric beast with a ferocious aura. They were madly colliding with each other, shattering the world and dimming the sun and the moon. Swallow the sky. The beast covered in blood roared. Even the sky was swallowed. It was obvious how powerful it was. The beast used all its power and burned its life essence to evolve its most powerful skill. This bite was unparalleled. In an instant, Su Yan's huge body was swallowed into its stomach. Oh my God, people trembled. Su Yan was swallowed alive. Could he survive after falling into its stomach? One had to know that the dark beast's heaven-devouring secret skill, once evolved, was equivalent to turning themselves into a divine furnace to refine the enemy. There was once a group of top talents in the deity's cave who were refined alive and reduced to dregs. However, before the warriors of the dark world could cheer, the beast's majestic body trembled. The world in its body was being destroyed. In fact, the beast had evolved all kinds of great skills to refine Su Yan. However, Su Yan went berserk. The sky-burying fist was invincible. The heaven-suppressing art suppressed the universe. Accompanied by the Kuanping's attack, the supreme power of the dragon wrestling art, the four great skills burst out together and destroyed the heaven-devouring pattern. The beast roared. Its body was about to explode. It was in unbearable pain. It was as if it had swallowed an ancient universe. It couldn't swallow it at all. Its body was about to be destroyed. Kill! Su Yan roared. His hands rose at the same time. Sword radiance filled the sky. Saber chi was like the sea. One sword cut through time, reincarnation, and the path of heaven. Two invincible secret skills were used at the same time. The sword radiance caused the beast's body to decline. In the end, the terrifying reincarnation heavenly blade cut open the beast's stomach. Roar! Su Yan let out an earth-shattering roar. His arms were like swords and sabers. His arms were also rotating the cycle of time. He grabbed the wound on the beast's stomach and tore it in half. His roar was soul-stirring. This scene was too ferocious. He had gone mad because he was bathed in the blood of the golden beast. Even later, Chapter 3. I drank some white wine at night and forgot. Sorry, everyone.